87%. Chapter 521. 3 years. With Feng Ling's affirmation, Lin Haoyang began to come into contact with the cultivation method of the 9 changes of nascent soul. As for the power to perceive the rules, Lin Haoyang was completely forgotten. Even if he met other people, he would not mention it. Lin Haoyang seemed to be crazy. Except for going out to find Yuming for resources, he was in closed-door training all the time. Lin Haoyang was rated as 1 million yuan. In other words, Lin Haoyang consumes about 1 million resources each year for cultivation. Millions a year, this is already a very high evaluation. You know, Lin Haoyang has become nascent soul. Some of the 9-layered existence of nascent soul and the spirit stones consumed by cultivation do not reach the level of 1 million a year. However, the Jian League positioned him at this level, and still favored him. After all, his achievements were there, and no one said anything. Jian Shu, who is also a genius, even if he is a disciple of Qin Yan, is rated only 800,000 spirit stones. The difference between 200,000 spirit stones is a lot, and multiplied by 5 times, that is 1 million spirit stones. The gap of 1 million spirit stones a year, if the two have similar aptitudes and perceptions, the gap between the two can be quickly seen. In 3 years, Lin Haoyang received a total of 15 million spirit stones in funding. This is only him, and there are so many cultivators of the gods. The annual investment of the Sword League is probably tens of billions. Such a terrifying investment, apart from the Sword League, no other force can bring it out. Of course, this requires a showdown between all parties. Regardless of the size of the sect, the family power, and the selection of the Holy Maiden, the spirit stones need to be distributed. Even Xuanzhen sect is no exception. Xuanzhen sect is only the 5th rank sect, and the amount of spirit stones allocated every year is only 500,000. The 6th rank sect, an annual showdown of 3 million spirit stones, is even more difficult. Each family will have a hard time during the selection of the Saint Sun. But there is no way, the human race high-ranked cultivator can hardly cope with the current situation. Compared with the disaster of extinction, life is tight, and it's nothing. 3 rounds of selection, 15 years, is to use the resources of the entire human race to pile up 2 people. Lin Haoyang didn't care about so many, the resources of 15 million spirit stones in 3 years. Lin Haoyang replaced all the resources of nascent soul 9 changes. Feng Ling was shocked by such a large amount of support. It was a desperate play. It was just so crazy. Lin Haoyang's nascent soul changed several times without worrying about resources. Boom. There was a sound of lotus flower blooming, and a refining flower enveloping Lin Haoyang's nascent soul was unfolded, and a crystal clear Lin Haoyang lotus position was sitting in the refining. Compared with 3 years ago, Lin Haoyang's nascent soul has undergone earth-shaking changes. Nascent soul opened his eyes, but they were black, hollow and deep, with no end in sight. Just looking at it, there was a feeling of sinking. At the same time, the phantom of divine sense in Lin Haoyang's knowledge of the sea opened his eyes, white to black eyes, and a mysterious aura filled Lin Haoyang's body. This breath, like chaos, caused the spiritual qi around Lin Haoyang to tremble, and unconsciously used it to Lin Haoyang's side. At the same moment when this chaotic energy appeared, the chaotic stone far in the deepest place of the source suddenly trembled. However, it was just a moment, and then there was no response. If Qin Yan and others knew that Lin Haoyang had caused the reaction of this chaos stone, they would have their jaw dropped. There is nothing you can do with the Tao. Your little nascent soul is actually shaken. Even if there is only a trace, it is enough to shock the world. The chaos qi caused the surrounding spirit power to move, which surprised Lin Haoyang. With these chaotic energy blessings, Lin Haoyang's cultivation speed has once again been ascension by 30%. In this way, Lin Haoyang completely bridged the gap in talent. Nowadays, even without relying on external forces, with his cultivation speed of the 3 spiritual roots, he can still catch up with the heavenly spiritual roots. The effect of this change is huge, and it has greatly increased Lin Haoyang's cultivation speed. Compared with some top geniuses, Lin Haoyang's difference is not chance, but cultivation speed. Now that he has mastered the qi of chaos, this only shortcoming has also been made up for. Yes, in 3 years, your nascent soul has reached the peak of the 4 changes, which is already the current limit. Now that your cultivation base has reached the pinnacle of the 2nd floor of nascent soul, when you break through the 3rd floor of nascent soul, there should be a big ascension, and then nascent soul will have a chance to transform. Taking this opportunity, it should not be difficult to reach the 5 changes. Feng Ling said. Lin Haoyang nodded. Now, he borrowed a lot of resources to successfully bring his own cultivation base ascension to the second floor of Nascent Soul. Cultivation base ascension is too fast. I am afraid it will take some time to settle. Others are still worried about cultivation base ascension being too slow, and Lin Haoyang is already worried about cultivation base ascension being too fast. Not only Lin Haoyang, but more than half of the 20-odd people on Lin Haoyang's side are worried about cultivation base ascension too soon. There is no way, 5 times the resources are smashed, and there is no way for ascension to think about the strength. The remaining part is that the strength of cultivation base has reached its peak, and there is no room for ascension at all. It has been 3 months since I walked out of the immortal cave space last time. Now, exactly 3 years, Lin Haoyang can go to receive the resources for the 4th year. After a brief cleaning, Lin Haoyang walked out. When he first left the ancient house, an ancient house not far away from Lin Haoyang opened, and a woman walked out of it and flew out likewise. Lin Haoyang glanced at the woman with a smile on his face, and said, "Zhou fellow Taoist, I am watching your strength. I am afraid I have found a way to control the power of the rules." Zhou Rong's complexion remained unchanged, but the joy on her face was somewhat unconcealable, saying, "Recently, I have gained something. I'm not as good as fellow Taoist Lin. This cultivation base is about to break through the 3 layers of nascent soul. It's really amazing." Lin Haoyang smiled, waved his hand, and said, "I'm dull. I can't find a way to control the rules. It can only be the ascension cultivation base. Now I have reached the bottleneck, and I can only wait for a while. This time I went out, I wanted to exchange some treasures of Ascension's body, and strive to have more Ascension strength." Quote. Zhou Rong's face condensed. He didn't believe Lin Haoyang's words, but he couldn't find any problems. After Lin Haoyang entered here, he only moved for a while, and then he didn't bother to move. Once he stayed, it was 3 years. During the 3 years of closed-door training, the resources that Lin Haoyang exchanged were all related to cultivation, and even Yu Ming had persuaded him. But Lin Haoyang still went his own way without any change. This time going out to exchange resources for cultivation of the flesh is probably a helpless move. Otherwise, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base, I am afraid, has already broken through the 3 layers of nascent soul. After breaking through 2 realms in 3 years, nascent soul realm is definitely a fabulous existence. It's so fast, it's so scary. However, Zhou Rong finally shook his head. Lin Haoyang was perverted. As long as he could not comprehend the power of the rules, he would not be able to complete the trial. If the trial is not completed, it will not pose a threat to them, so why bother with such a character? After a brief greeting, the 2 stepped out of the immortal cave space at the same time. 87%. Chapter 522. The moment the 2 stepped out of Immortal Cave, Yu Ming had already noticed that many people had come out in exchange for resources recently, and she was used to it. As far as he observed, several people had already sensed the power of rules and were trying to control them. However, she doesn't know exactly how many people can become, but there must be. Seeing the person, she suddenly turned dark. Among the crowd, the one she didn't want to see was Lin Haoyang. In the past 3 years, Lin Haoyang has not only not asked the slightest bit about the power of rules, but has also kept asking for cultivation resources. This made her very annoyed. The Sword League set up the Saint Child and Saint Child selection competition to cultivate a cultivator. Hidao is not something that can be piled up by relying on resources alone. Lin Haoyang, Zhou Rong, Xin Senior, the 2 respectfully greet Yuming. They still respect Yuming. Not to mention anything else, the identity of the human heritage is worthy of their respect. For 3 years, Yuming has been kind to them in preaching. It is extremely difficult for them to understand the power of the rules alone. When encountering some bottlenecks, the only thing they could ask for help was Yuming. Yuming always answered all their questions without any shadow. Such an opportunity will never exist outside. Even if it is your master, it will not be so meticulous. Just like Lin Haoyang, he couldn't always pay attention to his disciples. They usually asked Cao Ying. As for Cao Ying, when encountering problems, she often asked Yang Ji. Their question was not that Lin Haoyang couldn't answer, but that Lin Haoyang didn't have so much time to answer. Lin Haoyang has his own cultivation and spends much more time outside than in Xuanzhenzong. In this way, Lin Haoyang could only go back and mention 3 disciples. Of course, it is not only Lin Haoyang, but most of the masters and apprentices in cultivation world today. Even if it was Ji-Link-Si, Lin Haoyang had a question Ji-Link-Si couldn't answer immediately. More often, Lin Haoyang is asking for advice from the three brothers of Zhao Duanlong. But Lin Haoyang, in the past 3 years, apart from asking Yuming for resources, he has not asked any other questions. Don't tell me you are here to cultivate resources again. Yu Ming hummed softly, obviously being very rude to Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang's complexion was instantly embarrassed. What do you want him to say? He did come to cultivate resources, and now he couldn't speak up anymore. On the side, Zhou Rong's mouth twitched. It seemed that Lin Haoyang was completely broken, and he had no plans to advance to the second round of trials. Don't be angry, Yuming Sr., I also have the power to perceive the rules, but I don't have a deep understanding. It's not a way to stay stunned like this. It's better to increase your strength first. This time, I want to ask for some resources for the cultivation of the flesh, and hope that the senior will complete it. Lin Haoyang lowered his head and said. Even with his face, he couldn't bear it. If the eyes can kill, Yuming's eyes can kill him thousands of times. Yuming stared at Lin Haoyang for a long time, before finally changing to a light sigh, and said. Oh, the power of understanding the rules is not something everyone can do. You are just 3 spiritual roots, and your aptitude and perception are indeed inferior to them. That's it. Forget it, if you want. I will give it to you. Quote. After all, a long scroll appeared in Yu Ming's hand, floating towards Lin Haoyang. Seeing this long scroll, Lin Haoyang is very familiar. This is the list of resources. This time, Lin Haoyang can choose the cultivation resources of 5 million spirit stones. When he saw the dazzling array of resources, Lin Haoyang's eyes straightened, and the lowest spiritual creatures in it were all tier 5. Moreover, these things are the lowest prices, which are about 1 to 2% cheaper than the market price. Here, Lin Haoyang can exchange for more things. During Lin Haoyang's selection of spiritual objects, Yuming began to inquire about Zhou Rong's situation. When asked, Yu Ming was overjoyed. Zhou Rong had already sensed the power of rules. This time, Zhou Rong asked a lot of questions about the power to control the rules, and asked all the questions that he didn't understand during this time. Yu Ming knew what he knew, and answered everything he knew. Every time she solved a doubt, Zhou Rong felt that she was one step closer to comprehending the rules. In 2 years, she is 50% sure of the power to control a rule. But it is only 50%, and the power to control the rules is not so easy. After a stick of incense, Lin Haoyang selected the required resources and returned the list to Yuming. Seeing the spiritual objects that Lin Haoyang had chosen, Yu Ming sighed again, and didn't say more. He slapped the storage bag and released all the spiritual objects that Lin Haoyang had selected. Lin Haoyang was not polite. With a touch of his hand, he put all these spiritual objects in his own storage bag, his face full of excitement. Saying goodbye to Yuming again, Lin Haoyang turned around and walked into the immortal cave space. Even if Yuming is a master of Taoism, he would not be of great help. With Dragon Spirit and Feng Ling, Lin Haoyang has no shortage of teachers, he only needs to follow Feng Ling's cultivation. When Lin Haoyang left, Zhou Rong was still in the lotus position, and she seemed to have a deep understanding. Soon, Lin Haoyang returned to the ancient house. The old house he chose is relatively remote, and basically no one will come to him. In the next year, Lin Haoyang closed the door training again, and began to stab with all his strength to open all 108 acupoints in the shortest time. 1 year and 8 months later, Lin Haoyang opened his eyes, full of breath, like a beast of human nature. Lin Haoyang only went out once more than a year, and asked Yuming again for resources. Other than that, Lin Haoyang never went out again. With the help of the resources of 10 million spirit stones, Lin Haoyang finally opened his own 100 spirit 8 acupoints. Just when Lin Haoyang opened the 108th acupoints, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base could no longer hold back. Boom! Lin Haoyang's cultivation base was like a flood that broke the embankment, and Lin Haoyang couldn't stop it. After just a few breaths, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base has already reached the middle stage of the 3rd floor of nascent soul. However, there is still no sign of stopping. Lin Haoyang's cultivation base is moving forward. After a stick of incense, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base reached the 3rd floor of nascent soul and stopped in front of the 4th floor of nascent soul. Cultivation base no longer grows. Lin Haoyang let out a sigh of relief, and then relieved. For more than a year, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base has been consolidated completely, and there is no hidden danger left. If this breakthrough is too much again, he will have to cry. Good things followed one after another. Lin Haoyang was too happy to be happy. Lin Haoyang's nascent soul transformed again, and finally, with the help of cultivation-based breakthrough, nascent soul successfully reached the level of 5 changes. It took an hour for Lin Haoyang to adapt to his own body. This time there was too much breakthrough and he didn't adapt to it for a while. With the 108 orifices opened, Lin Haoyang's physical strength has reached a terrifying level, 490,000 caddies. The human body has a limit. The limit of the nascent soul period is 490,000 caddies. Lin Haoyang is stuck at this limit and cannot go any further. Even so, Lin Haoyang can still ascension 70% of the power with the help of the cultivation technique of the Buddha profound art. In other words, Lin Haoyang broke out with all his strength, reaching a terrifying 800,000 caddies. 87%. Chapter 523 Pseudo Rules. The strength of 800,000 caddies is already on par with some Tier 5 top bloodline demonic beasts. Of course, Tier 5 here refers to the peak of Tier 5, a batch of top demonic beasts that are about to enter Tier 6. Lin Haoyang is only at the 3rd level of nascent soul, and his power has reached such a terrifying level, it is really frightening. If anyone judges his strength by Lin Haoyang's cultivation base, he is definitely looking for death. A wry smile appeared on Lin Haoyang's face. His strength improved too much at once. I am afraid he still needs to spend a lot of time to adapt. Now, between his gestures and actions, there are leaks of terrifying power. If you don't pay attention, this ancient house cannot withstand the power of his terrifying physical body. The acupoints is fully opened, which means that Lin Haoyang's cultivation of the 2nd level of the Buddha's profound reality technique is complete, and it is time to start the 3rd level at this moment. Regarding the speed of cultivation technique cultivation, the true art of the Buddha, Lin Haoyang has been the slowest. Lin Haoyang only completed the 2-level cultivation from the condensing of the veins until the cultivation to nascent soul. Now, the 2nd level is complete, and the 3rd level is finally about to be opened. In Dantian, the black spirit power tumbled, quickly mobilizing all the spirit power that entered Dantian, more than a dozen breaths. In Lin Haoyang's Dantian, no ordinary spirit power could be found. The abnormal changes in Dantian quickly spread to the Sea of Consciousness. The Sea of Consciousness was calm last time, but now, in Lin Haoyang's Sea of Consciousness, waves are also rolling. The 8th stage profound crystal pagoda floats in the Sea of Knowledge, and the boy stands at the top of the tower, looking solemnly at Lin Haoyang's Sea of Knowledge. In the center of the Sea of Consciousness, centered on the phantom of Lin Haoyang's divine sense, at the bottom of the Sea of Consciousness, a giant is sinking in the water. The Sea of Consciousness is shaking, the waves are rolling, and the giant seems to burst out of the water. In Dantian, it has been dyed black, but Lin Haoyang's sight is not affected in the slightest. In Lin Haoyang's Dantian, the black air evolved into a starry sky, with Lin Haoyang's nascent soul as the center, slowly rotating, like a nebula. Some dark stars rise and fall among them, like 10,000 stars orbiting the sea. The evolution in Dantian and the Sea of Consciousness shocked Lin Haoyang. He felt that a world in his body was evolving. The universe's heart is empty. The earth and the ocean are all encompassed. Even if it is him, he doesn't know how far the 3rd layer of the Buddha's profound art will reach in the end. In a flash, 3 days passed, and the changes in Lin Haoyang's body finally ended. It wasn't until this moment that Lin Haoyang understood that the 3rd layer of the Buddha's profound Ju, the sea is the ground, and Dantian is the sky. 5 elements is upside down, the world is upside down, and the real are among the truths. Lin Haoyang was secretly frightened, the Buddha's profound art, becoming more and more terrifying. Just the 3rd level of cultivation technique, the Buddha profound technique was enough to stand tall as the top cultivation technique at that time. Cultivation technique breakthrough. Lin Haoyang's cultivation base has not improved, but has been compressed a lot. The original cultivation base on the 3rd floor of nascent soul has now fallen back to the middle stage on the 3rd floor of nascent soul, and divine sense has also fallen back to the middle stage on the 5th floor of nascent soul. When cultivation base fell, Lin Haoyang was not sad, but even more excited. This move made his cultivation base very solid, and no longer feel the slightest vain feeling. After experiencing his own state, Lin Haoyang was extremely satisfied. He doesn't know how strong he is now. Immediately, Lin Haoyang frowned again. His current strength ascension was too fast, and Junyu couldn't keep up with the speed of his cultivation base ascension again. Lin Haoyang let out a sigh. Cultivation base ascension is too fast, and the speed of magical item and ascension which is not cultivation base, Lin Haoyang can be regarded as the most vivid. As soon as his mind moved, Longling and Fengling flew out. Seeing Lin Haoyang by now, both Qiling were all taken aback. Obviously, Lin Haoyang's changes have exceeded their estimates. After Lin Haoyang's cultivation technique was completed, his cultivation became twice the result with half the effort, and his breakthrough was not small during this period. After some shock, Xiao Jinlong said, "In your current state, even if you are in the immortal world, it is a godlike existence, and it is probably only the existence of those special Tao bodies that can surpass you. But don't be discouraged. Those special Taoist bodies will only come out in 10,000 years, so you can't look at it according to common sense." Quote. Lin Haoyang nodded. He was very satisfied with his achievements now. As for those Taoist geniuses, he has never seen it before, so naturally he won't feel like a comparison. Yes, you surpassed my expectation again. Fengling was also very emotional from the side. This kid who she once looked down upon has now achieved this step. It is not so easy to understand that the world is unified. In the immortal realm, 90% of the people will be stopped before heaven and earth return to one. Even if he understands it, it will not be like Lin Haoyang. The world is natural and the evolution is so complete. Okay, I asked you two to come out this time, just to ask. Fengling said that he can easily control the power of a rule. What is going on? In the past 5 years, I have been trying my best with ascension strength and controlling the rules. I have forgotten about it. I still have 4 months to go. Do I still hope to control the power of a rule? Lin Haoyang said. The corner of Longling's mouth twitched, and he was a little speechless. You, a nascent soul, want to control the power of a rule for 4 months, whether I am crazy or you are crazy. Fengling, ignore him. I want to control a rule for 4 months. What did you think? Longling complained. Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched. Didn't you say that you cultivated first? Although nascent soul has only 5 changes, you have said that the rules of control are very simple. Why is he to blame now? Fengling's face is not pretty, too. Lin Haoyang overestimates her. You are a nascent soul cultivator. You want to control the power of a rule in 4 months. It's impossible, okay. Lin Haoyang's face was taken aback, and now it seemed that he wanted to control the power of a rule within 4 months. It seemed hopeless. In this way, he couldn't pass this second round of trials. Thinking of the 10 times the resources of the second round of trials, he regretted it. That was the resource of 1,000 spirit stones a year, and 5 years was the resource of 50 million spirit stones. This time, he seemed to have suffered a great loss, and his blood loss was incomparable. The resources of 50 million spirit stones, even for Hidao cultivator, are quite a lot. On the Zushan list, even the Heart's demon ancestor has only 150 million spirit stones. Relatively speaking, he has lost a third of the Heart's demon ancestor. Seeing Lin Haoyang's desperate face, Fengling wanted to smile a little, but some people weren't like this before. This changed his face, really fast. Finally, Fengling couldn't stand it anymore and said, although controlling the power of a rule, there is no hope, but you can control the power of a pseudo-rule. Lin Haoyang was taken aback. The power of pseudo-rules, what was that? He had never heard of it. Pseudo-rules, there are false rules. You want to call on a group of people who enter the Tao and join the Tao, which is not so good. Although I didn't believe it in my heart, Lin Haoyang's eyes had already lit up. Quickly, what the hell is going on with this pseudo-rule? If you can deceive Hidao, then it's feasible. Lin Haoyang was a little anxious, but this is something related to 5,000 spirit stones, which can be sloppy. Fengling had no choice but to say, pseudo-rules are only part of the rules. For example, when someone else controls a complete rule, you only control 1/3, or even less. But you use a special method to cultivate those fractions of the rules. In the eyes of others, your pseudo-rules are the same as true rules. Its power is only a fraction of the true rules. This cultivation technique was developed by one of your seniors to bluff people. Fengling smiled and said, you said, if you release dozens of hundreds of rules at once, what will your enemies think? Will they surrender directly? After listening, Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched. This method, really cheap. 87%. Chapter 524. The first round of trials. Although he felt that the other party was cheap, Lin Haoyang still admired his nameless brother. Compiling such a cultivation technique is definitely a genius among geniuses. It takes too much talent to be able to play with the power of rules like this. Lin Haoyang's conscious comprehension is not bad, but this cultivation technique of the power of perceiving rules, he still has self-knowledge, too much difference. This cultivation technique, the name Qianwamendi, can tell some clues from the name. His cultivation technique is a bit false, but it's true and false, and sometimes it can be true. Your brother, even if everyone in the world knows that 80% of his power of rules is false, others dare not despise him. Who is sure that the attack on him must be a false one? After Feng Ling finished speaking, a phoenix feather fell to Lin Haoyang's eyebrows again. Feng Yu touched Lin Haoyang's eyebrows and turned into a stream of light, rushing into Lin Haoyang's sea of consciousness. In Lin Haoyang's sea of knowledge, a large number of words floated up. These words were not the words of the time. In these years, he followed Xiao Jinlong and had controlled these words for a long time. Now he can read them without the slightest obstacle. Thousand-flower dream butterfly, compared with the Buddha Zan Zhenju, is not as good as 1%. Used to the difficulty of gnawing, the Qianwamendi is not too easy to compare with the Buddha Xuanzhenju. But no matter what, Qianwamendi is also a sixth-order cultivation technique, and cultivation is not just a pinch. After figuring out the principle of Qianwamendi cultivation technique, Lin Haoyang admired his brother more and more. He couldn't think of such an interesting person in the world. Otherwise, there would not be such an interesting cultivation technique. A month later, Lin Haoyang became familiar with most of the Qianwamendi insight. With 3 months to go before the first trial, Lin Haoyang didn't delay anymore and began to condense the power of his first rule. There are 3,000 avenues and countless trails. No one knows how many rules there are in this world. In the end, Lin Haoyang chose the golden rule of 5 elements. He is the 3 spiritual roots and has the most profound understanding of the metallic spirit power. It is also the easiest way to understand the rules of gold, so that everyone's suspicion of him will be minimized. Of course, he does not think that Zanming and others can see through Qianwamendi. Although Qianwamendi is only a 6th-rank cultivation technique, its level of sophistication is probably in harmony, and there is no clue. When Lin Haoyang concentrated on comprehending the power of rules, all parties in the ancient house also began their final sprint. There are 5 of them, the light is very victorious, a large amount of spirit power gathers, and the fluctuations of the rules are scattered. These 5 people are likely to control the power of the rules. Lin Haoyang himself is also condensing his own pseudo-metallic rules with all his strength. Although it is a pseudo-rule, it is necessary to be aware of the metallic rules. Without metallic rules as a foreshadowing, it will not reach the point of being fake. On the ancient house, the comprehension of the rules has reached the point where a raging fire is in full swing. On the side of Ouyangji, the gunpowder is heavier. Ouyangji equals the god of transformation cultivator. What needs to be comprehended is the power of the 3 rules. Logically speaking, it's not too difficult, but in fact, for them, it is more difficult for them to understand the power of the 3 rules, which is still higher than that of Lin Haoyang and others. The rules are not as many as you want to understand. Some people can only bear the power of the 4 rules, while some can bear the 8 or 9 rules, and the gap is huge. At the pinnacle of transforming gods like Ouyangji, the comprehension of the rules has already reached a bottleneck. Even if it is more than 1, it is extremely difficult. They can go one step further, completely relying on the resources provided by the Daofa land and the Sword League. The land of Taoism, even if it is them, can't come by wanting to come. It is regarded as a place of reward, and only by consuming merits can you come here. In the Sword League, everything depends on your achievements. Even if your master is a strong man in the same way, it is useless. Only the achievements you have accumulated are qualified to enter this place. Precisely because of this, Zhanmeng has developed fairly smoothly over the years. It is even more difficult for them to condense the power of the 3 rules. Soon, 3 months' time came, and the first trial finally began. Come out, 5 years have come, and it depends on your own success or failure. Yu Ming's voice came from the immortal cave space. The next moment, Lin Haoyang woke up from the closed-door training state. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. In the past 3 months, Lin Haoyang has constantly felt the power of the rules. With the help of the thousand-flower dream butterfly technique, Lin Haoyang finally realized that the golden rules of 5 elements existed 3 days ago. Once you feel the existence of the rules, it is much simpler to gather the power of the rules. As soon as he raised his hand, a golden thread appeared in Lin Haoyang's hand. It's not thick, but when it first appeared, the surrounding metallic spirit power all rioted. That's right, excitement jumped. At this time, as long as Lin Haoyang thought, all the metallic spirit power around him would surely flood into his body. This is the power of rules, a power that is completely above spirit power. As for how strong this rule wire is, Lin Haoyang doesn't know. After all, his rule wire is incomplete. It's up to you to succeed or not. After all, Lin Haoyang flew into the air. At this moment, everyone entered the capital together, all of them vacated and walked out. Lin Haoyang didn't say much, and followed the people out of the ancient house. When they walked out of the ancient house, Wu Yangji and others had already waited for them. It seems that everyone is going to participate in the first round of trials together. Everyone arrived, and the three powerful practitioners began to preside over the first round of trials. An old man came up and slapped his storage bag. A fist-sized 9-color gem appeared in his hand. Old man Xuanqing, the treasure in his hand is the 9-color wheel jade, and he is extremely sensitive to the power of the rules. As long as you put your hands on it, if it lights up, it means that you are in control of a rule. 9 is the extreme. Even if you have not mastered the 3 realms this time, but the number reaches 9, you are still considered to have passed the level. Zhan Qing said. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang was a little surprised. Could it be that there are only 9 rules under the control of the God transformation stage? From this point of view, it seems that the requirement for the cultivator to control the power of the 3 rules is not simple. Well, starting from nascent soul, come up and touch the 9-color wheel jade one by one. As long as one color is lit, it means that you have passed the first round of trials. After Zhan Qing finished speaking, he threw the 9-color wheel jade in front of everyone and stopped talking. Looking at the 9-color wheel jade in front of him, Lin Haoyang was a little worried. With this thing, can he tell that his rules are fake? When Lin Haoyang hesitated, someone already stepped forward and pressed it on the Jukai Xuanyu. Suddenly, a red ray of light flashed from the 9-color round jade, and everyone was shocked. Soon, Lin Haoyang calmed down. This person already had the strength of the 9th level of nascent soul, and in nascent soul, it meant to suppress everyone. It is not surprising that he can condense the power of rules. After this person, everyone came forward one by one. Some people knew that they didn't have the power to condense the rules, but they still wanted to try. Once they succeed, they will be the resources of 50 million spirit stones. Just by touching it, you can know if there is any control over the rules. Within a stick of incense time, only Lin Haoyang and Jianshu were left in the same place. Earlier, a total of 4 people measured the power to control the rules. Lin, fellow Taoist, you first. Or me first. There is something to show off in Jianshu's words, but he knows that Lin Haoyang's strength has been in the Ascension cultivation base in the past 5 years. Otherwise, the cultivation base on the 3rd floor of Nascent Soul, where did it come from? 88%. Chapter 525. Jianshu is very confident. He successfully comprehended the rules of swordsmanship a month ago. Kendo is one of the 3,000 avenues, but what Jianzhu comprehends is not the sword of the avenue, but only one branch of the Kendo. Even so, it can be seen that Jianshu's talent in Kendo is very high. Otherwise, with his cultivation base that just broke through nascent soul, it is difficult to understand the rules. For 5 years, Jianshu has been devoting himself to comprehend the rules, and cultivation base does not have much ascension. Even so, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base has reached the 2nd floor of nascent soul. The resources of 15 million spirit stones are smashed, and it is a pig that can also be advanced in cultivation base. Soon, Jianshu pressed a palm on the Jukai round jade, and suddenly, a red light lit up. A smile appeared on Yuming's face. It seemed that Qin Yan's vision was still very good. This kid was really close to Kendo. Only those who are close to Kendo can control the power of the bronze ancient sword. The sword holder is the one who is close to the sword, otherwise, it will be difficult to mobilize the power of the bronze ancient sword. Jianshu comprehended the rules. The expressions on everyone's faces were different. Jianshu was too young. Just stepping into nascent soul, he has such a talent and will become their rival. And I heard that Jianshu realized realm when he was in Golden Core, that was exclusive to the god of transformation. Now that he understands the power of the rules again, the threat of Jianshu has soared. As for Lin Haoyang, no one cared. Everyone knew that Lin Haoyang seemed to have given up his ability to comprehend the rules. Congratulations Jianshu, fellow Taoist, so talented, you must have a place in the position of Saint Sun. Lin Haoyang congratulated him. Jianshu smiled, waved his hand hastily, and said, Don't dare. Most fellow Taoists here are the generations of Tianzhao. With such a meager strength, how can you be proud? It's Lin, fellow Taoist. You are the only one left in nascent soul. Why don't you test it earlier and let you seniors complete the trial? Quote. Jian Shu is very polite, but Lin Haoyang understands what Jian Shu means, and I am afraid he has a bit of hatred for what happened at the time. He also knew that if Jian Shu got the title of Saint Child, he wouldn't be needed anymore. As for the so-called alliance, it wouldn't matter. Lin Haoyang smiled. If so, then I will let you see what it means to sit in despair. The eyes of the quartet turned to Lin Haoyang, and they all turned to see how well-known Lin Haoyang is now. Lin Haoyang didn't procrastinate, stepped forward and pressed a palm on the jade of 9 colors. However, Jukai Lunyu did not respond, no light flashed. Lin Haoyang's heart jumped. No, can't you recognize it? That's it, my 50 million spirit stones. Seeing that Lin Haoyang's subordinates did not light up, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, right? One less competitor will give them a bigger chance. There really was such an expression on Yuming's face. In the past 5 years, Lin Haoyang had received all resources for cultivation. He didn't do anything about the power of rules. If this made him understand the power of rules, where would she put her old face? Among the people who transformed the gods, Wu Yang frowned, but Lin Haoyang failed to comprehend the power of the rules. It shouldn't be, this is not the same lively as Lin Haoyang he knows. Lin Haoyang was extremely anxious, but that was the resource of 50 million spirit stones, so it couldn't just be gone. He began to use the 1,000-flower dream butterfly law with all his strength, and a rule of force appeared in his palm, rushing to the inside of the 9-color wheel jade. Suddenly, Jukai Lunyu trembled, as if feeling the power of Lin Haoyang's rules. But he seemed to hesitate a little, not sure, was Lin Haoyang's palm the power of rules? Seeing that Lin Haoyang was unwilling to retreat, Yuming let out a soft cough and said, Lin Xiaoyu, the power of this rule is not something that you can touch for a long time. It's better to leave early and don't delay time. After Yuming's words were finished speaking, a yellow light suddenly rose in the jade of the 9-color wheel under Lin Haoyang's palm. It is dim, but it is indeed lit up. The 9-color wheel jade shines, which means that Lin Haoyang has controlled the power of a rule, but who can believe it? They all looked at Lin Haoyang's performance over the past 5 years. If he could control the power of the rules, would they still survive? This gap is too big. Looking at the yellow light that lit up in front of him, Lin Haoyang was relieved. Anyway, he passed the trial. Lin Haoyang smiled at the corner of his mouth and stepped aside. He successfully lit up the jade of the 9-color wheel. It should be considered that he passed the test. The corners of Yuming's mouth twitched, opened his hand to suck, and sucked the 9-color wheel jade into his hand. After repeated inspections, it was found that there was no problem. In the end, she still didn't believe it. A breath was injected into the jade of 9 colors, and the 9 colors burst out, illuminating 9 heavens. At this time, Yu Ming was completely stunned, and the 9-color round jade was not broken, which showed that Lin Haoyang did control a rule. However, how is this possible? If the power of rules is really so controlled, how could human race only have so few cultivators? Jian Shu was also dumbfounded. What's wrong with Lin Haoyang? You are cultivating while comprehending the rules. So what have they been doing for the past 5 years? Is it a waste of time? In such a comparison, Jian Shu was also a little bit unsure. Lin Haoyang was really such a god, so did he even grab him? If this is not robbed, it is not embarrassing. When the fairy tomb is opened, I am afraid that people will no longer want to play with him. For a while, Zhanzhu was a little depressed. You are so powerful, so you can show it sooner. Is it really good to hide it like this? Yu Ming shook his head at Zhan Qing, saying that there is no problem with the 9-color round jade, but he also knew Lin Haoyang's performance in the past 5 years, so he asked. Show the thread of your rules. Lin Haoyang did not refuse, and with a movement of his palm, a thread of rules appeared in Lin Haoyang's hands. Xuanqing narrowed his eyes and divine sense came in, but within a short time, he quickly retracted it. Well, Xiaoyu Lin, you passed the first trial. Zhan Qing said with a smile. At this point, everyone came back to their senses, and Lin Haoyang really passed the first test. Lin Haoyang bowed to the 3 of Xuanqing, and then walked to Zhanzhu's side to fight well. Speak softly, Zhanzhu fellow Taoist, it seems that in the next period of time, I will have to stay with me. Jian Shu smiled, no longer the arrogance before, and his face was humble, saying, Lin fellow Taoist, you and I are newcomers here, we should support each other. Lin Haoyang smiled, ignoring the other 4 nascent soul cultivators that passed, and looked at the opposite cultivator. Nascent soul can be considered a small mess, just the power to control the rules initially. Ouyang and others need to control the thread of the 3 rules, and that's the point. With a throw in Yu Ming's hand, Jukai Round Jade fell into the crowd of transforming gods. However, no one wanted to grab this opportunity for the first trial. After everyone hesitated, a man looked dim and said, "I abstain." As soon as the word waiver came out, the whole audience was shocked. This was the first one to waive since the trial, and he was also a god cultivator. The 3 of Xuanqing's expressions sank, and said, "Do you really want to abstain?" The man nodded, and said nothing. 88%. Chapter 526 9 Colors of Light. This person has Xiao Juju in his heart. Looking at his aura, I should realize that there are 7 rules of power, of which 2, the power of rules is vain. It should have been realized only recently, that is to say, in the past 5 years, only 2 spirit powers have been controlled. As for your trial, you need to control the power of the 3 rules. He knew he had no chance to pass and didn't want to expose his own strength, so he chose to abstain. Feng Ling said. After being picked up by Feng Ling, Lin Haoyang instantly understood the truth. From this point of view, that person just didn't want to expose his strength. Also, when it comes to the cultivation base, it is considered to be at the top level of the human race. At this level, there is very little time for life and death. Every cultivator has a whole card-like existence. Naturally, it is better not to expose the strength of these people. After the man spoke, another 5 or 6 consecutive people abstained. When the 3 Yumming heard this, they could only sigh incompetently and abstained. They were not good at saying anything, but they always felt a little less energetic. After some abstentions, there are 5 cultivators left on the field, and Ouyang is one of them. Wu Shicheng, who was facing Ouyang, and Shi Mu, the first person to transform the gods, were still on the court at the moment, and they seemed to be very confident. In addition, there was a man and a woman on the court, with the appearance of a young man standing aside without a glance. The woman, with a charming face, just stood there, and many people's eyes naturally turned to her. You don't need to look at it to know that you are a disciple of the same line of flowers. His name is Shen Mengchen. He is the big disciple of the Bayawazi seat. He has 9 levels of strength and ranks 2nd in the cultivator. Ouyang has to be overwhelmed, but cultivation base is as strong as they are. As long as it is not a deadly battle, it is difficult to distinguish between strengths and weaknesses. As for this ranking, Ouyang has always been indifferent, the 3rd is the 3rd, and there is no loss. None of the 5 people rushed forward, as if the 9-color round jade was a hot potato. After waiting for a while, the few people remained motionless, and Wu Shicheng couldn't wait any longer. Unless you abstain, you think you can really hide. After that, pressing a palm on the jade of 9-color round jade, suddenly a burst of colorful light soared into the sky, shining in all directions. 5 of them are solid and stable, and they have been in control for a long time at a glance. The other 3 doctrines are indeed a little vain, and at first glance, they have only recently been comprehended. The 8 colors soared into the sky, Lin Haoyang and others took a breath, and the 8 colors represented Wu Shicheng's understanding of the power of the 8 rules. You know, for those who are strong in Taoism, Yumming only comprehends the 9 Taoisms. This shows that Wu Shicheng's strength is already extremely close to the limit of God transformation. Of course, there are strengths and weaknesses between the rules, but the power of the rules controls so much, that he is weak. I am afraid no one will believe it. Looking at the 8 colors on the 9-color round jade, Wu Shicheng slowly retracted his palm, then turned to look at Ouyang and said, Ouyang, there are only a few people, don't hide it, it's useless. Ouyang smiled on his face, but his body remained untouched. On the side, Shen Mengchen took a step forward and walked to the Jukai Lunyu. Without hesitation, he put his jade hand on it. The jade of 9 colors vibrated, and a ray of light of 9 colors shined out, reflecting all directions. Lin Haoyang's eyes burst, and he wiped his eyes. He thought he had seen it wrong. 9 colors. Hua Shen controls the limit of the rules. Is this big disciple of Bayawazi already strong enough to this point? Not only Lin Haoyang, but even those cultivators who had abstained from voting before, took a breath of coldness with such thoughts. They can hardly imagine the power of the 9 rules, only they know how difficult it is to do it. Wu Shicheng's face turned dark, and his previous pride disappeared completely. Even if there is a difference in the power of only one rule, it is a huge difference. Shen Mengchen flashed past, and after the light flashed, he flashed away. As for the privilege of controlling the power of the 9 rules, she didn't care at all. To them today, they are not in harmony, and everything else is just empty talk. The 3 of Xuanqing and Yuming were surprised that the power of the 9 rules had reached the pinnacle of transforming gods. This also means that Shen Mengchen already has the foundation to become Hidao. The power of the 9 Dao rules is equivalent to that Yangji has cultivated into an innocent body, half-footed into the state of harmony. Shi Mu, the first person in the transformation of the gods, had already stepped forward before the 3 masters of the path could speak. One press on the jade of 9 colors, the light of 9 colors reappears. This time, everyone finally changed color. When, the limit of the power of the 9 rules, when did it become so easy? Seeing Shi Mu's display of 9 color light, Wu Shicheng's complexion darkened, but he could understand that Shi Mu was the first person in the gods. Shen Mengchen can control the power of the 9 rules. If he can't, there will be some tricks in it. Shi Mu also showed the power of the 9 rules, and the 3 of Xuanqing were more happy. The 2 masters of the power of the 9 Dao rules means that they have the opportunity to attack the realm of Hidao. Now it seems that even if only these 2 people are out, this time the investment in the land of the source is worthwhile. Shi Mu had just stepped back. Yangji glanced at the man standing in the corner, and when he saw that he just kissed him, Yangji shook his head helplessly. Then he stepped out and came to Jukai Lunyu. A palm was pressed on the jade of 9 colors, and the jade of 9 colors began to tremble 3 times today, and another burst of light of 9 colors came out, shining 8 shots. Seeing the light of 9 colors light up, Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched wildly. Now Lin Haoyang has only one thought in his mind, this 9-color wheel jade, I am afraid they will all be ruined by them. When Yangji showed the color of 9 colors, Wu Shicheng's jaw dropped in shock. He knows that Yangji is not weak, and he has been against Yangji for so many years. He still knows the details of Yangji. Yangji's talent may be better than him, but only a little bit. Otherwise, Yangji surpassed him too much, and he didn't dare to find the opponent as an opponent. Just like he didn't dare to find Shi Mu as his opponent, the gap was too big, and he would find such a person as his opponent. Not a challenge, but a humiliation. Wu Shicheng's face was extremely dark. If Yangji really controlled the 9 rules, it would be difficult for him to be his opponent in the future. Yangji glanced at Wu Shicheng, smiled on his face, and left unhurriedly. As Wu Shicheng himself thought, if he really only controls the power of the 8 rules, the 2 are people of 2 worlds. Seeing that Yangji also mastered the power of the 9 rules, Shi Mu was not surprised at all, as if he had known this a long time ago. Yangji retreated, and the last nascent soul stepped forward. This person is not very familiar to everyone. He is not from the 7 great sects, but from a family of 7 sects. Before, he never showed mountains or leaked water. Even if he cultivated into the realm of transforming gods, not many people knew his origins. Pressing a palm on the jade of 9 colors, the light of 9 colors that has just dispersed, lights up again. Seeing this, Wu Shicheng spouted a mouthful of blood. Among the gods, there were a total of 5 people who did not abstain, and then 4 of them controlled the power of the 9 rules. He is the only one who controls the power of 1 rule, although the power of 8 rules is already buffin. But leaving the land of source law, it is even more difficult to control the power of the 9 rules. If there is no chance, he may not be able to control the 9 rules for the rest of his life. At this moment, he clearly realized that he had been completely thrown away. Hidao, it's impossible. 88%. Chapter 527 The second round of trials. Looking at the rising 9-color light, Lin Haoyang smiled bitterly in his heart. Is there really a chance to compete with these abnormalities? He doesn't understand anything else. The strong man who controls the power of the 9 rules means that 1 foot has stepped into the realm of harmony. Competing with these people for the chance of Saint Sun and Holy Maiden, will they really have a chance? Anyway, Lin Haoyang didn't think the chance was big. With this idea, not only Lin Haoyang alone, the 6 people who passed the first round of the test, all have the idea to give up at this moment, and they have no chance to compete with these people. If it weren't for the temptation of 10 times the cultivation resources, they might have already abstained, compared with Yangji and the others. Lin Haoyang and others were just a little trouble. When the young man turned and left, the 3 Yumming immediately fell among the crowd, looking excited. Those who fail the trial this time will leave the place of origin immediately. After that, the Yuashan cultivator flew out, leading those who had not passed the trial to leave, and suddenly there were only 11 people left on the spot. There are more than 30 people, and only 11 are left. The elimination rate is a bit too high. However, it is also understandable that after all, those who pass the first trial can get 10 times more resource rewards. 10 times, Lin Haoyang is a little excited thinking about it now. At this moment, he no longer wants to pass the second round of trials. With Wu Yangji and others here, how could they have compared it? Haven't you seen Wu Shicheng spit out a mouthful of blood? Jian Shu's face is even more like a concubine, so it seems that it is impossible for him to become a holy son, holy maiden. He still knows the talent of his big brother very well. Although she is also very confident in own talent, he is still too young to compete with these people, and there is no chance at all. Now they have stepped into the realm of Hidao with one foot, and are in the final sprint. And they are just advanced to the nascent soul realm. I don't even know when it will be able to transform the gods. How does the medicine compare? No comparison at all. The idle and miscellaneous people waited to leave, and the three gangs suppressed the excitement in their hearts and continued. My little friends, you have all passed the first round of selection. According to the rules, in the next 5 years, you can get 10 times the resources. The first round of trials, you gave me a lot of surprises, especially Shimu and you 4, you actually control all the threads of the 9 rules. However, controlling the silk of the 9 rules only means that you have the whole cards to enter Hidao, and it doesn't mean that you will be stable. After all, Xuanqing and Yumming 3 bodies for a while, each of them lit up with 9 rules of silk. The threads of the 18 rules flowed, and the spiritual qi suddenly boiled over here. Seeing this, Shimu and the others changed their expressions. Unexpectedly, all 3 of them had reached the limit of transforming gods and controlled the silk of the 9 rules. Seeing the astonishment on everyone's faces, Zhanqing and the others did not look happy, but rather sad, full of melancholy. I don't want to talk about things in the past, I just want to say that even if Cheng controls the thread of the 9 rules, he may not be able to become a Hidao. Hidao requires talent and chance. If talent is enough, it won't be possible without chance and luck. The 3 of us had bad luck in the past and we have been squandering until now. Zhanqing said. After listening, Wu Shicheng looked happy. Although there was a gap between him and Wu Yangji and others, it did not mean that the gap could not be narrowed. Even if he didn't become a candidate for the Son of God, he still had a chance. The fairy tomb is his chance, the chance of all of them. No one knows how many chances an immortal can leave behind. Even in it, there may be an opportunity for immortal ascension. The universe is uncertain, no one can easily say defeat. Because of Zhanqing's words, Wu Shicheng ignited his fighting spirit again. Okay, now that you have completed the first round of trials, you have to leave the place of origin. A few of us will continue to stay here. The second stage of trials will be in the far north. Ming will take you there. Remember, the Zhanmeng has paid so many resources for you to protect the human race. Since Ningmei has taken the resources of the human race, once it finds that you have rebelled against the human race will destroy you first even if you leave demonic beasts alone. Quote. After Zhanqing said, he stopped talking, which was regarded as a threat and an encouragement. Lin Haoyang's heart moved. Just now, he learned from Zhanfeng that the resources provided to them were allocated by the whole human race. Even Xuanzhenzong must apportion spirit stones every year. Only under this circumstance can they support their supply of 10 times the resources. Simply do the math. The resources required for the cultivation of the 5 gods cultivator alone are equivalent to the resources of the cultivator cultivation of 50 gods. Moreover, the God of Transformation cultivator here is the existence of the peak of God of Transformation, and the cost of each year is assessed at the level of tens of millions. 50 is the investment of 50 spirit stones, plus Lin Haoyang and other 6 people, it is equivalent to the consumption of 10 top-level cultivators. There are 60 transformation gods, human races, but when they reach their realm, they basically come to the end of the cultivation base. It is difficult to take one step forward. Firstly, it is because the talent has reached the end, and it is difficult to go further. Secondly, because there are some resources, it is difficult to have resources to support their cultivation. The general 6th rank sect can only support 1 cultivator, and the strong one can support 2 Dao 3 cultivators. But they can only provide the most basic cultivation resources for these cultivators. The progress of the cultivation base can only depend on the years. It is impossible to cultivate like Lin Haoyang by leaps and bounds. The human race, which supports 60 gods of peak existence cultivation, has reached its limit. No matter how much it wants, it is unrealistic. Zhan Qing said a few more words, then let Yuming take Lin Haoyang and others to leave the land of the source law. The place of source law is considered to be the heritage of the human race. Even if it is Lin Haoyang and others, they can't wait too much. Once the Chaos Rock riot is caused, it will be a huge loss. Under Yu Ming's leadership, everyone went to the far north. On the way, Lin Haoyang asked Wu Yangji about the power of rules, which Feng Ling had never told him. If Wu Yangji had anything to hide, he told Lin Haoyang some ways to comprehend the power of the rules. This time, Lin Haoyang accepted it humbly. There was no way. His rule was false. If you don't want people to discover it, you can only fully understand it and turn it into reality. With Wu Yangji's explanation, Lin Haoyang's understanding of the power of rules is ascending in a straight line. 1 month later, Lin Haoyang's comprehension of the rules of gold reached 50%. In other words, half of the threads of rule under Lin Haoyang's control are true and 100 are false. After a long journey for a month, Yuming took Lin Haoyang and others to the far north and came to a snowy wasteland. When he came to a snowy field, a white mysterious jade appeared in Yuming's hand. With a sudden pinch, the mysterious jade shattered and turned into white glow to dissipate and empty. After a few breaths, the snowfield trembles, and the vast white snowfield suddenly splits with a huge hole, which is extremely deep. Okay, I'll send it here, and someone will greet you inside. Yu Ming said, and left. Soon, a voice came from the crack. Welcome to the Corpse God Library. 88%. Chapter 528 Ancient Battlefield. The name, Zom Shenku, even if it is the existence of the 9-layer gods like Shimu, is the first time I have heard of it. Before entering it, Lin Haoyang felt a strong sense of death. This Corpse God Library gave him the feeling that it was like a battlefield, with countless dead corpses piled up, and lifelessness gathered and stayed all year round. However, this far north is not suitable for the survival of the human race. There has not been much war between the human race and the demonic beasts in the far north. There are very few demonic beasts in the far north, and there is no food. Even demonic beasts can hardly survive here. The Terran also discovered several important mineral deposits here, and only then occupied some of the far north. Otherwise, who would want to come to this place where birds don't shit? And this Corpse God Library, they had never heard of it before, but at first glance, it was not a good place inside. Wu Yangji walked to Lin Haoyang, protected him behind him, and said, "Don't look. Since Yuming Sr. sent us here, it means there is no danger here. If you want to give up, don't go in." After all, Wu Yangji led Lin Haoyang into the Corpse God Library. Shimu and others took a look and walked into the Corpse God Library. Except for Lin Haoyang and Shimu, everyone else has no such good luck to be guarded by a cultivator. But since they are all here, what else is there to be afraid of? Soon, everyone stepped into it. Darkness, deathly silence, and bone cold. If you stay here alone, sooner or later you will go crazy. But if Demon Cultivator arrives here, it will be like a paradise, and the lifelessness here will be their best tonic. Everyone walked a certain distance, and their death became more and more serious, as if they were about to erode the bone marrow of Lin Haoyang and others. Lin Haoyang was shocked. His current physical body, even the same rank demonic beasts, couldn't be compared. What kind of lifelessness would make him feel this way? Or in other words, here, how many creatures died before forming such a Jedi? By the way, I seem to think of something. The Corpse God Library, the ancient battlefield, the demonic beasts who died here, I am afraid that there will be hundreds of millions. And they are all extremely powerful ancient beasts, not the current cannon fodder level. Jian Shu suddenly said. His face was full of horror. Once he flipped through an ancient book, which recorded only a few words from the Corpse God Library. At the beginning, the human race occupied some northern regions and began to explore the mineral deposits in the extreme north on a large scale. A cultivator in the nascent soul period explored all the way, not only failed to detect the mineral deposits, but was eroded by the lifelessness inside, and became human and ghost. After that, the Jianmeng blocked this area and listed it as top secret. Because it is too remote and there are no resources and minerals, the far north is gradually fading out of people's sight. Hey, I didn't expect that someone knew about the existence of the Corpse God Library. I thought that this place was completely forgotten. The voice said again. While speaking, a firelight lit up, lighting up the surrounding space, allowing Lin Haoyang and others to see the specific scene clearly for the first time. Lin Haoyang's eyes glared fiercely, and he was shocked by what he saw. As far as the eye can see, countless bones. The bones of demonic beasts are not like them. The corpses of these ancient wild beasts are much larger than the current demonic beasts. Generally, demonic beasts of Tier 5 can reach about 50 meters, and the smallest of the ancient barren beasts here is probably 50 meters. What's more powerful is hundreds of meters, which is a level that can only be achieved by the 6th order demonic beasts. This is not just one, but countless, too many to imagine. If this group of ancient wild beasts existed in the world, the human race would have no hope at all. Even if they were guarded by the bronze ancient sword, there would be no chance. Ouyangji and others were also terrified. Why would such a powerful existence, such a powerful force, an existence that should have existed forever, be domineering? Why is Senior staying here? What is the second round of trials I'm waiting for? Shi Mu stepped forward and asked. At this time, a cloud of black mist condensed and turned into a phantom of an old man. Senior, forget it. I may not be as strong as yours, I just live longer. I am not a human, so don't think about what I will do for you. I just received some kindness from the human race. This time the human race asked me to let go of the blood pool of the gods and demons and let you wait for cultivation for 5 years. 5 years later, when you wait to leave, nothing happened to me. As for the trials you are talking about, I don't care, and I don't want to worry about it. You can do whatever you want, and leave here after 5 years. The old man said. He didn't seem to welcome everyone to come here too much. Lin Haoyang was secretly surprised. This old man is not a human race, then what is he? How terrible is someone who can always exist in such a place? Divine sense plunged into the sea of knowledge. Lin Haoyang's soul turned phantom, awakened the dragon and the phoenix, and asked. You two, do you know this place? How does this old man exist? Long Ling rubbed his eyes, and saw the sight outside through Lin Haoyang's eyes, and his pupils shrank instantly. Sure enough, you kid too can cause trouble, right? Have you even met the ancient battlefield? Lin Haoyang showed embarrassment on his face. How could I get into trouble because of this? What does this have to do with me? However, I have to say that your luck as a kid is absolutely heaven-defying. In this ancient battlefield, there are countless corpses of wild beasts, and the spirit of life is full of death. Spiritual roots could not survive in it. The old man is not a creature at all, but a monster called soul. This monster was born from the death aura, absorbed death aura and existed. The death aura here is too strong. The strength of this soul demon is probably not weaker than the cultivator. Quote. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang's complexion changed, not weaker than the Hidao cultivator. This was a bit beyond his expectation. In other words, this soul demon can easily kill them. Before, he thought that there are 5 late-stage gods such as Ouyangji. Even if the place is dangerous, you must protect yourself first, there should be no problem. Now it seems that he still underestimated this place. It was more dangerous than he thought, for countless generations. However, I have to say that your luck is really heaven-defying. These ancient battlefields generally have gods and demons' blood pools. Do you know, the 3rd level of the Buddha's profound art, what treasure is the best to use for cultivation? Long Ling asked. Lin Haoyang looked dumbfounded, although he completed the 2nd cultivation of the Buddha profound art, but the 3rd level of cultivation technique, he has not fully penetrated. Up to now, he hasn't started cultivation, and he doesn't even know what treasure he wants to cultivate. But when Long Ling asked this, he definitely didn't aim for nothing, could it? Lin Haoyang thought of something, and he was shocked. Could it be that this 3rd level cultivation technique needs the blood pool of the gods and demons? Lin Haoyang was shocked and looked at Long Ling with an incredible expression. Long Ling knew what Lin Haoyang was thinking, and nodded. Lin Haoyang was immediately ecstatic. Fortunately, he entered the 2nd round of trials. Otherwise, he would regret his death. There is no blood pool of gods and demons. How does he cultivate the 3rd level of the profound realm of the Buddha? I'm afraid it can only be polished by countless years. Now it saves countless hard work. The old man waved his hand, and the darkness dispersed, forming a passage leading to the depths of the corpse mountain, saying, at the end of the passage is the blood pool of the gods and demons. You can enter it to cultivate for 5 years. However, the spirit of death in the blood pool of the gods and demons is strong, and if you can't bear it, you will come out. If you die in it, I don't care. 88%. Chapter 529 God and Demon Blood Pool. After all, the old man transformed by the soul demon disappeared. He seemed to hate anger, and he didn't like Lin Haoyang and others too much. Don't show the disgust in your eyes too obvious. Pulled back by the voice of demon breaking, Lin Haoyang's expression was a little unnatural, and said to Yang Ji, "Second brother, be careful, this old man's phantom is not a human race, but a monster named Pomo. Its strength is terrifying, and its strength, maybe it has surpassed the Washan." As soon as this remark came out, Yang Ji's mouth twitched unconsciously, transcending God. That is Hidao. Is this place so dangerous? Before, he thought there were 5 of them, as long as they couldn't get along, they couldn't go there in this world. But now it seems that he is still too young, and there is a monster with the power of Tao in this place. But fortunately, this monster has a good relationship with the human race, and is even willing to help the human race cultivate the strong. In any case, it now appears that the role of this monster is greater than the threat. Yang Ji didn't tell anyone the news either, not hiding it, but the news was too terrifying. Once everyone knew it, it might cause panic. As for how Lin Haoyang knew about this news, Yang Ji didn't want to bother. He knew that Lin Haoyang had his own chance and should have gained some inheritance from the immortal world. Otherwise, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base ascension is so fast, why is it so solid? Even if it was him, he didn't dare to be like Lin Haoyang's ascension cultivation base. Looking at Lin Haoyang's cultivation base, Yang Ji wanted to persuade, but he couldn't talk about it. He didn't know what to say. Lin Haoyang seemed to be unconstrained by the rules, and common sense didn't adapt to him. Without saying much, everyone went straight to the blood pool of the gods and demons. Just as the old Potamon said, the closer this place is to the blood pool of the gods and demon, the more deadly it will be. With the deepening of the distance, the death aura became more and more intense, and the first one that could not bear it was Jian Shu. Among the crowd, the weakest is him. That's right, Lin Haoyang has now thrown off him. The strength of the cultivation base that was once a sword virtual is stronger than Lin Haoyang. How long has it been since the two cultivated together, and his cultivation base was overtaken by Lin Haoyang a lot? Jian Shu is not the first person to be overtaken, but he is definitely the one who has the deepest memory. Because of his own strength, he was the first person in Golden Core. But is he sure about Shang Lin Haoyang now? No, even if he mastered the thread of rules, even if he understood the power of realm. Facing Lin Haoyang, he didn't have the slightest confidence. Today's Lin Haoyang, he can't see through, don't know how strong he is. In his opinion, Lin Haoyang is an old monster who has cultivated for thousands of years. Jian Shu resisted the death spirit with all his strength, his face changed a little, and he just couldn't bear the death spirit erosion here just halfway away. Seeing this, Shi Mu said, "Everyone is the backbone of the human race. These nascent souls are us in the future. The 5 of us will protect them. When we reach the blood pool of the gods and demons, it depends on their own good fortune." As soon as these words came out, the faces of the nascent soul cultivators were ecstatic. Although they were better than Jianzhu, they were not sure that they would be able to reach the blood pool of the gods and demons. With the 5 cultivators guarding the way, Lin Haoyang and others are much easier. An hour later, 11 people walked to the end of the passage, and in front of them was a lake. Looking at the lake in front of him, Lin Haoyang trembled in his heart. This lake was not ordinary lake water, but a piece of blood. Even if millions of years passed, the blood in the lake showed no signs of drying up, as fresh as ever. What is even more shocking is that these blood are not simple. If it is ordinary blood, the blood of a 7th-order demon emperor is extremely huge. As long as there are a few demonic beasts, it is not difficult to collect a lake of blood. But according to Lin Haoyang's observation, these blood are all blood essence, the essence of blood. A demonic beast can extract 10 drops of blood essence, which is incredible. Such a lake of blood essence, I am afraid that countless demonic beasts need to be killed to get together. At the edge of the lake, small streams of blood can be seen flowing into the lake. Don't guess, the owners of these blood are these ancient demonic beasts. These ridiculous demonic beasts are not weak. If they use their blood to train the body, if one is not careful, they may be burst. Even Lin Haoyang, who was close to tier 6 demonic beasts, was physically in the body, and he didn't dare to swallow it at will. The blood is mixed here, and a large ancient demonic beast's blood essence who can accidentally swallow a drop of tier 6 peak strength, even if he does not die, he will be seriously injured. Moreover, they didn't know the conditions of this trial, and there was no one else here except the demon breaker. They don't know the requirements to complete the trial, and refining blood is extremely dangerous, and they dare not try easily. At this moment, the happiest ones are probably Yang Ji and Lin Haoyang, both of whom are in the same spirit and have dual cultivation. The blood of these ridiculous demonic beasts is the best treasure to strengthen their bodies. When Uyangji saw the blood pool of the gods and devil, his eyes lighted up. Here, it is like it was specially built for him. In 5 years, with the help of these ridiculous demonic beasts' blood essence, he has hoped to become an innocent body. Once he has cultivated into an innocent body, coupled with the power to control the rules of the 9 Tao, and break through the Tao, he can also have 50% assurance. The confidence of 50% is already very high. Generally, those who have a great opportunity to make breakthroughs are only 50% to 60% certain. When Ji Lingxi made breakthrough, he was only 60% sure. Moreover, if Uyangji had cultivated an innocent body here, he would surely be able to pass this second round of trials. After passing the second round of trials, when in the third level of trials, ascension was sure of 10%. He also had a 60% certainty, even if he couldn't become a holy son, it was enough. The joy on Uyangji's face is hard to conceal. Even Lin Haoyang can feel that this place is simply a treasure trove of cultivation of the Buddha Zan Zhenju. Others don't have such a good experience, although they know that the blood pool of the gods and demons is a rare treasure. However, they don't know how to use it. When they reach their situation, they can understand the great ways and the power of rules. Although the strength of Ascension's physical body was also required, it was still too far away from the Jilin line. What they can get is less than 1/10 that of Lin Haoyang and others. Yes, it is so exaggerated. Shi Mu gritted his teeth and said. Try it, a few adults, it's impossible to aim for nothing. If you can only strengthen the physical body, it can't be used as the second round of assessment. Because it doesn't make sense, this is more likely to be an assessment for Ji Ling's pulse. But the selection of the sun is extremely important, I believe a few adults. Everyone, try it out. Quote, after all, Shi Mu's spirit power was sighted, and a drop of blood essence was photographed by him. Compared with Lin Haoyang, the existence of Shi Mu's peaks of transformation was much less dangerous. As long as they don't die and try to swallow too much blood essence at once, even if they meet the blood essence that exists in Hidao, he can suppress it. As for Hidao blood essence, it has reached a very high level. When they shoot into their hands, the energy contained is different, and they naturally feel it. Shi Mu crushed blood essence in one hand, and spirit power wrapped around him. Just about to absorb the essence, his face suddenly changed. 88%. Chapter 530 Demonic Beasts. Shi Mu, the strongest person in this place, changed his complexion even after absorbing a drop of blood. How could other people not be surprised? Even Lin Haoyang and Uyangji, who wanted to absorb the blood, directly stopped. Just now, Uyangji wanted to go directly into the blood pool of the gods and demons, with the help of this blood, to cultivate his own innocent body. However, Shi Mu's performance was to directly persuade him to retreat. This god and devil blood pool seemed not as simple as he thought. Soon, the other 4 cultivators took a drop of blood essence one after another, wanting to take a look at what is hidden in it. Soon, the faces of Uyangji all changed. Seeing the strange expressions of the 5 cultivators, Lin Haoyang and the others looked at each other, but did not dare to try it easily. They could only know what happened after the 5 cultivators had refined blood essence. In the time of half a stick of incense, the cultivator has almost got rid of the influence of blood essence and returned to normal. Fortunately, Shi Mu and the others have a look of joy on their faces, so it seems that these blood have other benefits. You can feel it too. In these blood essences, there are some memories of the ridiculous demonic beasts. If you are lucky, you will be able to feel the images of their talents and supernatural powers. These feelings are precious, even more than the blood essence itself. Come to think of it, this is the second round of trials, the real purpose. Shi Mu said. Uyangji and the others nodded. As Shi Mu said, these blood essences contained a trace of the memory of the ancient demonic beasts. If you are lucky, you can feel the opportunity of the ancient demonic beasts to display their talents and supernatural powers. Such an opportunity is conducive to everyone's understanding of the road and enhance the actual combat experience. Uyangji and others are hundreds of years old, and they have extremely rich combat experience. It's just that if you want to join the Tao, you need to understand the avenues and find the own way to join the Tao. And the thousands of ways in the blood pool of the gods and demons are the real opportunity to help them find the way. Lin Haoyang and others were a little surprised. Seeking ways, for them, it was too far away. That is the realm that can only be reached at the level of harmony. He Dao. The Dao here is to integrate the rules into oneself, and to be one with Dao, it is He Dao. Existence like Yumming, who controls Dao is better than He Dao that controls rules. But I couldn't integrate Dao into myself, and it was much worse than He Dao. That's why I have such a small realm as En Dao. Entrance and harmony, no matter which one, is a powerful person in control of the Dao, much stronger than the transformation of the gods. Controlling the Dao means jumping out of the rules. Is it possible to be strong? The opportunity to seek the path. This is why the 5 cultivators are so excited after they feel the memories of these ridiculous demonic beasts casually. From here, there are signs of cultivating strong people in harmony. Lin Haoyang looked weird. These trials seem to be a bit unfriendly to them, like nascent soul cultivator. Whether it is controlling the rules or controlling the road, it is a bit too difficult for them. They still have the possibility to control the rules, but the power to control the Great Road is too whimsical and impossible at all. Jian Shu also looked worried. Until now, how could they still not understand that they participated in the selection of this Holy Sun Holy Maiden? They came to accompany the run, and they did not hope they would win. Also, the nascent soul cultivation base is still a bit worse. Even if it is supported by the entire human race, they can't bring the cultivation base ascension to the peak of the god transformation in a short time. Since they can't be completed, then they can't become He Dao, and they won't be able to become He Dao. They don't have the slightest help to the current plan, so what do you want them to do? Lin Haoyang suddenly remembered that everyone who participated in the selection of Holy Maiden of the Holy Maiden would eventually reach the cultivation base of the God of Transformation. At the beginning, although the people eliminated in the first round had a large supply of resources, their cultivation base was still at the nascent soul middle stage, which made Lin Haoyang wonder how these people could transform their gods into the cultivation base. Now it seems that although these people have left, they may not be allowed to leave. The Sword League should take them to another place, knowing that they will cultivation base ascension to the transformation of God. Those who can participate in the selection naturally have the potential to become a god. As long as they are given enough opportunities, they will naturally have no problem. It was Lin Haoyang and Jian Shu 2 accidents. Cultivation base was the weakest, and even completed the first round of trials, which completely exceeded everyone's expectations. But fortunately, with the second round of resource support, Lin Haoyang and Jian Shu's cultivation base ascension will be faster. As for the second round of comprehending the power of the Great Tao, they thought it would be impossible if they hadn't thought about it. If Jian Shu left the guardian of several cultivators, it would be extremely difficult to reach the blood pool of the gods and demons. How would he refine the blood essence in it and realize the avenue in it? Lin Haoyang's body is stronger, and he can last longer here, but he can't stay here forever. He could feel that the death aura here was eroding his origin all the time, and if the origin was damaged to a certain extent, it would be an irreparable loss to his path. He also inquired about the dragon and phoenix twin spirits. Since this is an excellent place for cultivating the floating Tushuan true art, there must be a way to stop death. Long Ling told him that in the immortal world, to cultivate in such a place, there will generally be strong guards to help suppress death. Such people are called Taoist protectors. In other words, if Wu Yangji wholeheartedly helped him suppress his lifelessness, Lin Haoyang would naturally be able to cultivate with peace of mind. However, this is almost impossible. Wu Yangji himself has to cultivate the Wushan body, so how can he take care of him? Lin Haoyang was too embarrassed to bother with Wu Yangji. If Wu Yangji really cultivated into the innocuous body, then he would really have a chance to break through. As for this lifeless spirit, he still has hope. With the help of the sword washing pond, he now has the unsullied body that Wu Yangji wants most. Coupled with the increase in the physical body of the 108 orifices, Lin Haoyang felt that his own physical body was not inferior to the worst Tier 6 demonic beasts. Of course, Lin Haoyang has never played against Tier 6 demonic beasts, so naturally I don't know how strong they are. He just knew that if it were an ordinary human race powerhouse, now he could blow the opponent to death with one punch. In the face of absolute power suppressing, all the skills are in vain. Lin Haoyang's current physical strength can completely catch up with some Tier 5 magical items. How to hit this? A casual blow by others is equivalent to a full blow. Not to mention anything else, it will consume you to death, and in the end, you may not be able to break the defense. This is the benefit of body cultivator cultivation to the advanced realm. As long as you die, it's hard to die. The 6 of you, figure it out for yourself. Here, you may die. You should judge for yourself. Don't lose your life for temporary gain. That kind of people are just idiots. Shi Mu warned and took back the spirit power that protected everyone, and even Jian Shu no longer sheltered. He felt that the power of the great Tao requires wholeheartedness to protect everyone, and he needs to be distracted. Naturally, he won't. Others were very accommodating, glanced at each other, and withdrew spirit power one after another. Junior brother, you can do it yourself. I know you have your own means, but survival is the root. Ouyang Ji Chuanian warned and withdrew spirit power. Without the protection of the cultivator, Lin Haoyang suddenly felt the dead pressure around him. Unable to do so, Lin Haoyang could only run the Buddha profound art with all his strength to resist this dead air. The faces of other people are also full of helplessness. Without the protection of the cultivator, they are really hard to move here. 89%. Chapter 531. Lin Haoyang used the Buddha's profound art with all his strength, surrounded by black spirit power, and tried his best to stop the spread of death. But after all, he is only the cultivation base on the third floor of nascent soul, and the death aura here is at least the level of God, and it is continuous. Lin Haoyang blocked it and consumed a lot of money. I am afraid that he would not be able to hold on for an hour. Zhou Rong, another nascent soul cultivation base are much stronger than Lin Haoyang, but the physical strength is farther away than Lin Haoyang. The time these people persisted is almost the same as that of Lin Haoyang. Zhangju cultivation base is the weakest, and I'm afraid it lasted for less than half an hour. But for Jian Shu, Lin Haoyang never underestimated him. The opponent was able to realize realm when he was in golden core. Such a genius, if you say he didn't show his cards, Lin Haoyang wouldn't believe him. The 5 gangs disperse and start to refine the blood essence of the wild ancient demonic beasts in this lake. Although it is safer to get together, understanding the power of the great Tao is not a simple matter. It is better not to disturb each other. Moreover, cultivation to their realm, who has no secrets, naturally does not want to share it with others. Even Lin Haoyang said, everyone, although the opportunity here is good, you still have to live it. After that, Lin Haoyang also walked away, looking for a remote place, and went to refine blood essence by himself. Jian Shu and Zhou Rong did not say much, they chose a direction and went to refine blood essence. Only Jian Shu was left, with a bitter smile on his face. He was too dominant here. Even so, Jian Shu never thought of giving up. Jian Shu's spirit power rose, and a small sea of swords appeared behind him. Regarding his control of realm, it is no longer a secret matter. Many people had already seen it in the 8th stage mysterious tower. As long as you pay a little attention, you can know. However, whether Jian Shu masters realm is of little use here. Even if you control realm, it will not pose a threat to the cultivator. If you don't understand realm, you will be able to understand the power of the Tao. For Lin Haoyang and the others, Jian Shu is even less threatening. Everyone is the same, and there is no hope of passing the second round of trials. In this case, no matter how strong you are, no matter how many means, they can just refining blood essence with all their strength to increase their strength. Lin Haoyang no longer cares about other people, and now he can only hold on for an hour. It is better to hurry up. Approaching the blood pool of the gods and demons, Lin Haoyang throbbed in his heart. This feeling was a little longing and some fear. It seemed that there was something terrifying in the blood pool of the gods and demons that could swallow him in an instant. Dragon spirit, Feng Ling, how should this god and devil blood pool be used? Lin Haoyang asked. This blood pool, although mysterious, even contains the memory fragments of the ancient demonic beasts. These memories are extremely precious. Unfortunately, for Lin Haoyang today, these memories are dead like poison. If one can't handle them, Lin Haoyang may be insane, chi deviation. A person integrates too many other people's memories, even if his divine sense is strong, it cannot be suppressed. These memories, once received, will become your memories. Your memory is the same as you. How can you suppress it? You can't suppress it. When these miscellaneous memories become more and more, your sea of consciousness cannot bear it, and it will instantly engulf your original memories. Your original memory is swallowed, and you can't tell who you really are, and you'll get chi deviation. Soon, the dragon and phoenix twin spirits flew out of Lin Haoyang's dantian, looking at the god and devil blood pool in front of them. The twin spirits sighed, Lin Haoyang's luck is really heaven-defying. In such a remote world, being able to encounter so many adventures is not heaven-defying, but what else can it be? Even in the immortal world, those arrogances, he may not have the luck of Lin Haoyang. The blood pool of gods and demons is a kind of opportunity for the enlightenment of spirits. With the help of the boundless blood essence of this blood pool of gods and demons, the foundation stone of the path of immortality can be built. Achieve the position of immortality. Long Ling said. Lin Haoyang frowned. Ling Xian. Lin Haoyang had never heard of this name, he only remembered that Long Ling once said it. The first immortal position after Hidao was Earth Immortals, then Celestial Immortals and Daluo Jinxian. He had never heard of this immortal. Suddenly, Lin Haoyang seemed to have thought of something, immortal ascension. Wait, this celestial being is it the body cultivator of the celestial being? Lin Haoyang asked excitedly. If this is the case, then there is a possibility of immortal ascension for the cultivation body cultivator. Didn't you hear what Xiao Jinlong said? With the help of the blood pool of the gods and demons, there is a possibility of immortal ascension. Facing Lin Haoyang's questioning, Long Ling nodded and continued. Yes, the blood pool of the gods and demons can indeed help the spirits to break through, but the scale of the blood pools of the gods and demons is too small, and blood chi can't support you to break through the spirits. If you want to break through the spirits, at least 10 times larger than this blood pool of the gods and demons, and the blood of demonic beasts of the 7th order must be cut by 50%. From the current point of view, this blood pool of gods and demons cannot support you to cultivate into a spirit immortal. Quote. After listening, Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched, 10 times the area, and half the blood essence of demonic beasts of Tier 7. How could this be possible? Lin Haoyang cut off this thought in an instant, but there was a realm demon in it, so how could it make him foolish? Moreover, if there is no path opened by the old demon breaker, he will not be able to find the blood pool of the gods and devil. Once he gets lost in the jungle of the corpses of this wild and ancient demonic beasts, death can erode him to death. Okay. Don't think about anything else, you have cultivated the slaying Jew, let's show it. Feng Ling interrupted Lin Haoyang's contemplation, stiffly. Dragon and Phoenix are twin spirits, and Dragon Spirit is like an erudite old man. No matter what questions Lin Haoyang asks, Dragon Spirit basically knows. And Feng Ling, more like a strict teacher, constantly urged Lin Haoyang to move forward. It is not so much that Lin Haoyang is the master of the two of them, it is better to say that the dragon and the phoenix are the guides of Lin Haoyang. It also coincides with the meaning of Yuke's existence, inheriting the fire of civilization, otherwise civilization will be extinct. As soon as the mind moved, the killing intent flying sword would automatically revolve, and the 7 killing intent flying swords revolved around Lin Haoyang. The 7th killing intent flying sword, Lin Haoyang finally condensed it all these years, but it has been too late to unite them. The 7-handed flying sword is not in one, and the help to Lin Haoyang is minimal now. Well, yes, 7 killing intent flying swords, it is extremely rare to be able to condense this way. It means that you are also a decisive person. Feng Ling nodded, admiring Lin Haoyang. In the next period of time, you first retreat to a safe zone, first unify the 7 killing intent flying swords to reach full form, and then insight into the Buddha's profound art, and then you can absorb these blood essences. Lin Haoyang frowned. He knew how difficult the Buddha profound technique is. In 5 years, Lin Haoyang may not be able to thoroughly understand the 3rd layer of insight. In this way, this opportunity will not be wasted in vain, and it will be difficult to come in next time. Seeing Lin Haoyang's worry, Feng Ling said, knife sharpening does not accidentally chop wood, but if you can't bear it, you will make a big plan. Then you will kill the gods and help you to block all lifelessness. On the contrary, you only need to refine those blood essences. Lin Haoyang was taken aback. He didn't expect that the word killer would have such a magical effect. Lin Haoyang was not indecisive, and immediately left the god and devil blood pool and retreated to the place where he had just entered. Started to fully integrate the 7 killing intent flying swords. 89%. Chapter 532. However, Lin Haoyang encountered obstacles. With 7 killing intent flying swords, it is not that simple to integrate the only one. Since Shay's away all the way to cultivation, Lin Haoyang has gone smoothly without too many obstacles. Then Lin Haoyang didn't spend too much thought on gathering these killing intents. Sometimes, Lin Haoyang himself felt that his luck was too heaven-defying. Want to condense the 7 killing intent flying sword, kill the creatures, at least 70,000, even if Lin Haoyang has been licking blood on the tip of the knife, he has not killed so many creatures. Moreover, the more you get to the back, the harder it is to condense the killing intent. It can't be done simply by killing 70,000 low-level demonic beasts. Lin Haoyang's early stage of condensing killing intent sword light was also very simple. As long as some demonic beasts were killed, it could be condensed. But when it comes to killing intent flying sword, it becomes more difficult to condense. Lin Haoyang was able to accumulate so many killing intents in such a period of time, or because of the outbreak of Demon Cultivator, Lin Haoyang killed too many ghosts. These ghosts, with their own killing intents, provided Lin Haoyang with a lot of killing intents. At the same time, the passage of the ghost world of the underground palace also provided Lin Haoyang with a large number of ghost killing intents. That cut directly piled Lin Haoyang's 2 killing intent flying swords into 6.5 handles, which was a battle. Lin Haoyang condensed 4.5 killing intent flying swords. This speed is too fast, so fast that this kind of situation rarely happens in the fairy world. However, it is not without it. The immortal realm also had the underworld shadow and soul realm at that time, and it was still suppressed. If you have enough chance, you can go there for cultivation. To catch up with the eruption of the ghosts, and to cultivate, naturally it is also twice the result with half the effort. Therefore, killing word judgment was also a good method in the fairy world at that time. After all, it can solve the killing intent problem and turn it into a means of attack by itself, which is a very good cultivation technique. It's just a pity that this cultivation technique can only be cultivated to the peak of God transformation, and after that, there will be no follow-up cultivation technique. Therefore, even if the power of the killing intent sword is ascension to the peak of the God of transformation, it is still a bit tasteless. The peak of the God transformation is in the immortal realm, all of which are of the level of cannon fodder. There are immortal people everywhere, not immortal ascension, they are all ants. But unlike in the world of Lin Haoyang, the transformation of the gods is the pillar-like existence, and the cultivation of the transformation of the gods is definitely an existence that can dominate one party. A month later, Lin Haoyang opened his eyes tiredly, his eyes covered with bloodshot eyes. The 7 handles of killing intent flying sword all over his body were spinning, and they couldn't unite. Lin Haoyang didn't know what the reason was. You are too impatient, and your understanding of killing intent is not enough. Moreover, your killing intent is not pure enough. Feng Ling suddenly flew out of Lin Haoyang's dantian. With a move of the phoenix spirit's wings, it hooked out a killing intent, and continued. In your killing intent, not all are formed by your killing. The instability of the killing intent is the impure material of the magical item. How can it be achieved? You have also cultivated a magic weapon, why don't you understand such a simple truth? Quote. Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up. Yes, this month, it's not that he can't fuse these 7 killing intent flying swords. But between these 7 killing intent flying swords, there is always a repulsive force that prevents Lin Haoyang from unifying the 7 flying swords. Thinking about it now, this feeling, just as Feng Ling said, was impure in quality, and there was some rejection among killing intent flying sword. Lin Haoyang understands the truth, and is also sure of how to integrate the 7-handle killing intent flying sword. With a thought, the black spirit power gathered in Lin Haoyang's hands and gradually turned into a hammer. At this time, Lin Haoyang's nascent soul stepped out of dantian and grabbed the hammer made by spirit power. Started frantically at the 7 killing intent flying sword hammers, and the strands of killing intent were forced out of the killing intent flying sword by the hammer. There is no sound of percussion, but Lin Haoyang uses spirit power as his hammer and nascent soul as his hand to forge 7 killing intent flying swords, which is really extraordinary. Ordinary refiners can't do this. Without it, their spirit power is not pure enough, and nascent soul is not powerful enough. Only Lin Haoyang's spirit power of the Buddha's profound art of Buddhism can condense needs into reality, and only Lin Haoyang's nascent soul's 9-change nascent soul can move so freely. Lin Haoyang fell into the closed-door training situation again, and after a flash, a month passed again. During this month, Jian Shu, Zhou Rong and others returned here many times. Seeing Lin Haoyang sitting in the lotus position, nascent soul was holding a hammer and hitting the 7 flying sword. Such a weird scene made them all dumbfounded. Jian Shu found that he couldn't understand Lin Haoyang more and more. Could it be that Lin Haoyang wasn't tempted by such a precious thing as the blood pool of the gods and devil? Also in the first round of trials, Lin Haoyang was not interested in the power of comprehension of the rules at all, and devoted himself to ascension own strength. In 5 years, Lin Haoyang couldn't even see through him. Now, Lin Haoyang did not play his cards according to the routine again, which made Jian Shu a little worried, whether Lin Haoyang would have another shocking reversal. But Jian Shu observed for a while, and Lin Haoyang didn't do anything except tap the 7 flying sword with nascent soul, so Jian Shu could not see any clues. No way, Jianzhu can only refining blood essence with peace of mind. In just 2 months, Jianzhu felt his own physical power and made a lot of progress. However, how these ridiculous demonic beasts' memory fragments in blood essence is really a problem. Jianshu has no good way. Whenever the memory fragments of these wild and ancient demonic beasts explode, he can only rely on the sword formation to wipe out these memory fragments. As a result, the speed of Jianshu's refining blood essence was greatly reduced. However, Jianshu couldn't help it. Without relying on Janai to wipe out the memory fragments of these ridiculous demonic beasts, Jianshu might not be able to persist in a long time. Others are similar to Jianshu, and can only rely on some means to obliterate these memories. This made them have not many blood essence refining for more than 2 months. One is because they can't spend much time near the blood pool of the gods and demons. As a result, the time they were delayed on the road was a bit longer. In addition, when choosing blood essence, several people took time, and the amount of blood essence they brought back at one time was not too much. If they accidentally ingested a drop of blood essence from demonic beasts of Tier 6 high-grade ancient demonic beasts, or blood essence of demonic beasts from Tier 7 demonic beasts, they might be killed by the remaining memory fragments inside. All of this made Jianshu and the others not fast at refining. Even so, they have gained tremendously. However, Ouyangji received the largest amount of goods. In just 2 months, Ouyangji's body became more psychic. At this moment, he plunged his hands into the mysterious blood pool and continuously absorbed the power of blood essence. Ouyangji is not refining blood essence, but directly absorbing the power in blood essence to help him cultivate a non-stained body. This made Ouyangji's memory fragments of blood essence much less, maximizing the power it absorbs. Although other cultivators have methods to deal with the memory fragments of the ancient demonic beasts, their methods are still far behind Ouyangji in speed. The speed at which they refine blood essence is at most only 1/3 of Ouyangji's. However, this does not mean that Ouyangji has gained even greater gains. Ouyangji lies in refining blood essence, ascension own flesh, while Shimu and others pay more attention to the power of the Great Way. In the past 2 months, they have refined a lot of blood essence, felt the memories of countless ancient demonic beasts casually, and constantly felt the power of the Great Tao. It is also great for them to understand the Great Road. 89%. Chapter 533. Ding Ding Qiang knocked for a month, and Lin Haoyang's 7 killing intent flying swords were all half smaller. Compared with before, the killing intent flying sword with 7 handles is much more compact. It has become more and more condensed. Although the rank has not changed, its power is already comparable to some of the lower rank flying swords. Moreover, these killing intent flying swords only need to be controlled by Lin Haoyang's mind, making them more comfortable. The flying sword with 7 handles and 5 ranks inferior grade is enough to meet ordinary opponents. However, the enemy Lin Haoyang is facing today, these methods are obviously not enough. Ding! With the last knock, Lin Haoyang's nascent soul villain finally stopped. After continuously knocking for a month, even if Lin Haoyang's nascent soul reached the level of 5 changes, it was still somewhat difficult to support. The weak nascent soul returned to Dantian, 7 killing intent flying swords, one by one in front of Lin Haoyang. Looking at these killing intent flying swords, Lin Haoyang split his mouth and smiled. The results were better than he thought. Lin Haoyang could feel that these killing intent flying swords are now very pure. After thousands of hammerings, the killing intent impurities inside have been completely eliminated. At this time, Feng Ling flew out again, looking at the 7 killing intent flying sword in front of him, and said, "Well, it's not bad. Although it's a bit small, it doesn't affect the fusion. As long as the late stage absorbs enough killing intent, it will naturally return to its normal size. Don't hesitate, start condensing unity." Lin Haoyang nodded. He had waited for this moment for 2 months. Now he truly understands that what is meant by time is money. He is really cultivating with all his strength, and he doesn't want to waste any time. Running the killing intent again, Feng Ling did not rush back this time, but pointed Lin Haoyang on the side. She will point out where there is a mistake in the first place. Just like this, 1, 2, 3. An hour later, Lin Haoyang only had the last killing intent flying sword left. Because the killing intent in flying sword has become extremely pure, there is no incompatibility. Even if it is the last one, Lin Haoyang has merged very smoothly. A quarter of an hour later, Lin Haoyang's killing intent shook and turned into a whirlpool, converging towards the sword of killing intent in Lin Haoyang's hand. Looking at the killing intent sword in his hand, Lin Haoyang was a little surprised. The feeling of this killing intent turned into an entity was so special. Moreover, the killing intent sword still retains its previous characteristics, sharp and light, holding it in the hand without feeling the weight. This made Lin Haoyang feel a little twisted. With Lin Haoyang's current power, it was even more difficult to control things with no weight. Fortunately, this killing intent sword only needs to be manipulated with mind. A thought flashed in his mind, the sword of killing intent disappeared, and a mortal bone of demonic beasts not far away shattered. Without any warning, it was too soon. With Lin Haoyang's current vision, it would be difficult to find his existence. Lin Haoyang was overjoyed. Because the sword of killing intent has abandoned too many killing intents with impurities, it is now united and its power has declined. Only around the 5th tier mid-level, but relying on its characteristics and fast swordsmanship, even if it is the nascent soul late stage, you must be afraid of it. With an extra killer feature, Lin Haoyang was naturally happy, and with a move of thought, he included the sword of killing intent in Dantian. It is not the time to use him. In the 3rd level, Lin Haoyang's perception of killing intents is very keen. Without special perception, Lin Haoyang can discover that this corpse god library is filled with a large number of killing intents. At the same time, he could also feel lifeless. Death chi and killing intent are both a special kind of energy body with some homology. They are both born after the death of living beings. These two things are the strongest in the ghost world of the underworld, for those reasons. Death chi and killing intent are their spirit power, which is extremely beneficial for them to advance. With a movement of thought, Lin Haoyang urged the killing intent to mobilize the killing intent in his body to fill his body. Killing the word can't control death, but he can deceive death. That's right, what Lin Haoyang is doing now is cheating death. After the whole body was covered by the killing intent, Lin Haoyang gritted his teeth and directly removed the spirit power that was protecting him. At the moment when spirit power dissipated, the death spirit in the corpse god library seemed to have found its source, frantically rushing towards Lin Haoyang. The alarm bell in Lin Haoyang's heart was ringing, and it would be useless if he killed the word. His 2 months were completely wasted, and his blood was incomparably lost. However, when these dead energy touched Lin Haoyang's body, they did not intrude further. Under the full force of killing words, every inch of Lin Haoyang's body contained a majestic killing intent. If it were placed outside, people would definitely think that Lin Haoyang had already been enchanted. Even Lin Haoyang felt that his own state was very strange now. He seemed to have turned into a killing intent, and when his body moved, a piece of killing intent would come out. Then, the killing intents in the air will swarm in again and enter Lin Haoyang's body. Always keep the killing intent in Lin Haoyang's body at a balanced point, not too much, not too little. In this way, Lin Haoyang can maintain this state for a long time. Once this balance is broken, the dead energy will invade and begin to destroy the internal structure of the body. After getting used to it, he was sure that the dead energy around him would not invade into his body again, and Lin Haoyang was relieved. Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up, and if he was near the blood pool of the gods and devil, and the death energy would not invade, then he could absorb the blood essence inside with peace of mind. The blood essence of that lake is exciting to think about. Lin Haoyang no longer hesitated, adjusted his state, and walked towards the blood pond of the gods and demons. At this time, she happened to meet Zhou Rong withdrawing from the vicinity of the blood pool of the gods and demons, and she saw her whole body entangled with death, and it seemed that she had spent a lot of time inside. Lin fellow Taoist finally moved. I thought that Lin fellow Taoist would have been doing this for 5 years since it has been closed-door training. Zhou Rong teased. Lin Haoyang smiled and said. Fellow Taoist laughed, and his strength is weak. Naturally, he has to be fully prepared before doing it. Zhou Rong smiled. She naturally wouldn't believe Lin Haoyang's nonsense. The two chatted briefly, and then they separated. Zhou Rong was already a little hard to support, and was anxious to leave. Lin Haoyang walked all the way to the blood pool of the gods and demons, and along the way, Lin Haoyang walked a little frightened. However, the killing word judgment was still very effective. After such a long distance, there was no trace of death invading Lin Haoyang's body. However, Lin Haoyang walked very slowly, and it took a day for Lin Haoyang to arrive near the blood pool of the gods and devil. As soon as Lin Haoyang appeared, he immediately attracted the attention of the people around him. Without him, the killing intent on Lin Haoyang was too rich. Jian Shu frowned, and as expected, Lin Haoyang didn't do anything good. In the distance, Ouyang sensed a trace of Lin Haoyang's breath and looked at it. He was also curious as to what he was doing in 2 months. Soon, the corners of his mouth twitched. This rich killing intent, I'm afraid it didn't kill 100,000 people. After watching for a while, he found nothing wrong, so he stopped watching. He can no longer control his own junior, so he should cultivate his own Wushan body well. Lin Haoyang came to the blood pool of the gods and demons again, feeling a little excited, and immediately turned the Buddha's profound art technique and took a drop of blood essence into the palm of his hand. With a fierce squeeze, blood essence burst to pieces, and the energy contained in it instantly surged towards Lin Haoyang. As for the memory fragments, Lin Haoyang didn't care at all, just squeezed it. 89%. Chapter 534. Looking at Jianzhu here from a distance, couldn't help but squeeze the corner of his eye, directly squeezed it. Is it a bit too cruel? If you want to absorb the essence of blood essence, it is naturally the best to absorb it in a whole drop. He has been in this way for the past 2 months. As soon as Lin Haoyang came, he told him what it meant to play cards unreasonably. The blood essence, which was squeezed by Lin Haoyang, turned into blood-red thin threads, wrapped around Lin Haoyang's arm, and went straight to Lin Haoyang's body. The Futu Xuanzhenju worked to the extreme, directly extracting the power from blood essence. Lin Haoyang only felt that he had found the source of strength, a force that poured directly into Lin Haoyang's body. The drop of blood essence selected by Lin Haoyang is the blood essence of an ancient demonic beasts with top 5 top grades. Even after so many years, the effect of blood essence remains unabated. The blood essence effect dissipated, and Lin Haoyang seemed to swallow a tonic elixir, causing Lin Haoyang to feel hot all over his body. In the Sea of Knowledge, the cultivation technique of the third layer of the floating Tushuan Zhenju appeared, with a series of inscriptions, obscure and incomprehensible. However, with the accumulation of these years, Lin Haoyang has his own understanding of the Buddha profound art. On this cultivation technique mountain, Lin Haoyang has spent more than 50 years, and he has kept insights day and night for 50 years, which can be regarded as specialization. Especially in the land of the source law before, he realized that the Buddha profound art has evolved into the great Tao of heaven and earth, and he has some understanding of the cultivation technique of the third layer of the Buddha profound art. The first level of magic power, the second level of cultivation of the body, and the third level of cultivation of heaven and earth. Today, Lin Haoyang's knowledge of the sea and the world in Dantian are all illusory. Looking at the reality, they are like castles in the sky, meaningless. The third level of cultivation technique is to turn this illusory time into reality. Just thinking about it, people can't believe that cultivation techniques like cultivation are absolutely crazy in ordinary eyes. This is not cultivation, this is looking for death. If it was before, Lin Haoyang would also think that this must be a fantasy. How could Dantian, the cultivator's sea of knowledge, pretend to be the next world? Aren't you afraid of being blown up? But this time nascent soul has reached 5 changes, Lin Haoyang instantly understood. If Dantian is not strong enough, how can he carry nascent soul to keep getting stronger? It's fine for others not to repair nascent soul. Once they want to pursue a higher realm, their knowledge of the sea, Dantian, is by no means simple. This is reflected in the good fortune weak heavenly tribulation of Ji-Link Sea. From good fortune Zhou Shengyi cultivation to nascent soul realm, changes will occur in Dantian, and a lotus platform will appear in Dantian. Lotus platform communication 8 extraordinary meridians, nascent soul lotus position sits on the lotus platform. 9 petals are the first level, with a maximum of 36 lotus flower petals. When cultivation reaches 27 petals, there is the potential for cultivation to the way of harmony. Except for the Ji-Ling Yi channel, other cultivation techniques of the 6 ways of combination, there must be the same way to strengthen Dantian. However, there is no such horror as the floating Tu Zan Zhenju, and it is necessary to recreate a piece of heaven and earth in Lin Haoyang's body. At this moment, Lin Haoyang's Dantian is extremely lively, with nascent soul as the center, a star field emerges. A drop of blood essence's power can only light up a nebula, not even a stardust. Seeing the changes in Dantian, Lin Haoyang couldn't help but twitched his mouth. How much resources would he spend to fill the nebula? Moreover, the world in his body is more than this, and there is also a piece of land in his knowledge of the sea. The only effect of a drop of blood essence is this. How much resources does he need to expend to materialize all of these? Looking at On Zihai and Dantian, Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched. In this life, can he still cultivate to the third level of the Defutu Xuanzhen art? Lin Haoyang was not sure. This god and devil blood pool could only allow him to cultivate for 5 years. If he could cultivate for decades, he would think it was possible. With a light sigh, Lin Haoyang stopped thinking about it and started to refine these blood essences with all his strength. After a stick of incense, this drop of blood essence's essence was completely absorbed by Lin Haoyang's Dantian world. However, the Buddha's profound art technique did not absorb all the benefits of blood essence. This drop of blood essence left 1/5 of its power to ascension Lin Haoyang's cultivation base in the body. Lin Haoyang's physical strength cannot be ascension now, but the physical strength can still be ascension. After refining a drop of blood essence, Lin Haoyang only felt his own body strengthened. No way, he refining a drop of blood essence, only 1/5 of the benefits, the 1/5 benefits, but also divided into two. 1 point is used for the ascension cultivation base, and 1 point is used to strengthen the physical body. After refining a drop of blood essence, Lin Haoyang's body was filled with desire, and not only in Dantian, but also in Lin Haoyang's world of knowledge. Lin Haoyang shook his head. These two worlds are like two children who are not fed enough. Lin Haoyang can only take blood essence again to refine. This time, Lin Haoyang took 2 drops while squeezing and absorbing blood essence power. This scene was seen by Jian Shu from afar, and his brows jumped. He began to think that Lin Haoyang was just washing the blood and trying all these blood essences to work, and then refining blood essence here. But Lin Haoyang slapped his face with facts, and Lin Haoyang was about to refine blood essence next to the blood pool of the gods and demons. Besides, if you refining 2 drops of blood essence at a time, aren't you afraid of being blown up? A quarter of an hour later, Lin Haoyang succeeded in refining 2 drops of blood essence, and nothing happened. It turns out that Jian Shu was thinking too much. The corner of Jianzhu's mouth twitched. Lin Haoyang was indeed a pervert. When he was excited, the cultivation technique fluctuated. He could have persisted for a while. At this moment, the death spirit already had signs of invasion. Jian Shu could only grab 2 drops of blood essence indiscriminately, and then left. Lin Haoyang was not in the mood to care about Jianzhu and the others. At this moment, he was immersed in the refining blood essence as if he had discovered a treasure. When time flickered, a few days passed. In the past few days, Jian Shu and others went back and forth several times. However, Lin Haoyang had been sitting there refining blood essence, and he didn't mean to be corroded by death energy. As long as you are not stupid, you can guess that Lin Haoyang's current state is related to the killing intent all over his body, but no one knows exactly what it is. Jian Shu and the others are hot, but there is no way. Killing intent has no effect on them. They even need to get rid of the body and keep the body pure. They didn't expect that the killing intent, which they looked down upon, would have such an effect. They can only see when Lin Haoyang stops and then ask if they can bother Lin Haoyang. Otherwise, it would be a big hatred to interrupt other people's cultivation. Time flew, and 3 months passed. Lin Haoyang finally stopped taking blood essence to absorb it. Nothing else, just his cultivation base, which has reached the limit of nascent soul's 3 layers, and it must be a breakthrough. Lin Haoyang had no choice but to stop and prepare for the breakthrough nascent soul 3 layers. The movement of Lin Haoyang's breakthrough was instantly noticed by everyone near the blood pool of the gods and demons. Everyone knew at this moment that Lin Haoyang broke through here. Ouyang opened his eyes. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. What is he doing with this junior? Break through here, and really want to come out? Are you not afraid of death in the body, and die here? Suddenly, Ouyang seemed to think of something. His junior. How long has he been here? A month. There seems to be more. How could this be? How could a nascent soul stay here for so long? On the other side, Yang Lianhu, the first person of nascent soul, also looked at Lin Haoyang. 89%. Chapter 535. Yang Lianhu is known as the first person under the god of transformation. His strength is naturally extremely strong. There have been rumors that he fought a battle with the cultivator on the 2nd floor of the transformation god and was not defeated. It is precisely because of this that there will be the title of the first person under the god of transformation. At this moment, his eyes on Lin Haoyang were full of desire. With the help of this place, he was already 60% sure that he could break through the realm of God. However, 60% is not absolute. What if it fails? Therefore, he has to accumulate more, and now only Lin Haoyang's special means can achieve his goal. If there were no worries of lifeless erosion, the speed at which he could absorb blood essence would be several times faster. In this way, he can even achieve 80% of his breakthrough and spiritual grasp. 80% sure, as long as he is not too lucky, there will not be too many problems. Those cultivators that have a certainty of 80% of the breakthrough are very rare. The eyes of all parties are on Lin Haoyang, but the master is breaking through the cultivation base wholeheartedly. 2 hours later, Lin Haoyang Dantian shook, and cultivation base reached the 4th floor of nascent soul. With breakthrough now, Lin Haoyang feels that his strength ascension is not too great. No way. Although the cultivation base is only on the 4th floor of nascent soul, his strength is almost close to the ceiling of nascent soul. There is no huge ascension, and the strength of ascension is naturally not obvious. But this time, Lin Haoyang's divine sense went further and entered the nascent soul late stage, which is comparable to the divine sense on the 7th floor of nascent soul. Feeling the changes in his body, Lin Haoyang showed a wry smile on his face. Sure enough, the physical body, divine sense, cultivation base, and cultivation base ascension are all too slow. Even if his current cultivation speed is not worse than some days of spiritual roots cultivator, the speed of cultivation base ascension still cannot keep up with the physical body and divine sense. Lin Haoyang estimated that it won't take long for his divine sense to reach the 9th level of nascent soul. At that time, his strength will take a huge leap. He didn't know how powerful the divine sense power of nascent soul could be. Just settled, a Taoist shadow flew towards him. Lin Haoyang frowned. In this god and devil blood pool, there is very little communication between all parties. What does Yang Lianhu mean now? What does Yang fellow Taoist mean? Do you think this place of mine is a treasure, and I want to grab one or two? Lin Haoyang said with a cold expression. Yang Lianhu's expression changed, and he quickly explained. Lin fellow Taoist, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that in the next. This time I come here, I have something to ask Lin fellow Taoist for advice. Lin Haoyang raised his brows, a little surprised. However, his time is precious now, and he wants to absorb more blood essence, but he doesn't have that much time to delay. Yang fellow Taoist has something to say straightforwardly. Time is precious, I still want to refine more blood essence. Lin Haoyang said. Yang Konggu's face was full of helplessness. It seemed that his identity as the first person in nascent soul didn't seem to be very useful. Yes, there is a cultivator behind them, and there is a cultivator here. Why should you be afraid of him? Moreover, in his opinion, Lin Haoyang's strength is definitely not limited to the 4-layer nascent soul on the surface, the extremely spiritual line, which cannot be judged by cultivation base. In Yang Konggu's heart, Lin Haoyang has always been regarded as a nascent soul late-stage cultivator. Now that Lin Haoyang has made a breakthrough, his strength in his heart may be even stronger. Even more than Jian Shu, he knew that Jian Shu understood realm, and even so, in Yang Konggu's heart, Lin Haoyang was still stronger than Jian Shu. Lin fellow Taoist also knows that the biggest obstacle for us here is these damn life. We are no better than the senior of the gods. By the side of the blood pool of the gods and devil, we can hold on for an hour or two at most. In this way, our efficiency in absorbing blood essence has been greatly reduced. I have not left half a step away from the fellow Taoist in the past few months, but is there any secret method that can resist death? If fellow Taoist can share one or two, in the future, if fellow Taoist needs it, let's next. Before Yang Konggu finished speaking, he was stopped by Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang felt helpless, and it seemed that the thing that could deceive lifelessness was to make others' eyes were red. However, he does have a secret method. One is that he cannot easily teach Shazaway, and secondly, Shazaway wants to achieve his level, which cannot be achieved overnight. Yang fellow Taoist observes carefully, but my method is a cultivation technique of cultivation killing intent. I have also cultivated for more than 50 years before I can enter this realm. I am afraid it is impossible to achieve my level in a short time. Because of his cultivation, he needs to keep accumulating killing intent. And killing intent can only rely on continuous killing to accumulate. Here, my cultivation technique can hardly be cultivated. So Yang fellow Taoist, please go back. Lin Haoyang is absolutely determined, and there is no room for negotiation. Yang Konggu's complexion changed again. First, Lin Haoyang didn't even give him a face, and second, Lin Haoyang's method of shielding lifelessness was actually a cultivation technique. In this way, he has no chance. After hesitating, Yang Konggu said. In that case, I'm talking about it. Yang Konggu was helpless, Lin Haoyang refused directly, and he couldn't persecute it. Things went froze, but it didn't do him any good. When Yang Konggu left, the several Hidao looked away from him, and they were also very curious about Lin Haoyang's cultivation technique to shield the killing intent. If they can get it, they don't need to fight death while comprehending the power of the great Tao. Although the lifelessness here can't threaten their lives, but without the energy to deal with lifelessness, their success rate of comprehension avenue will require a lot of ascension. At least 30% of their minds can be recovered, and the probability of their perception of the Great Tao can also be increased by 30%. 30%. A lot, enough to impress them. Wu Shicheng and the young man's eyes flashed a gleam of excitement. They glanced at Ouyang-ji in the distance. Dare to do it. Finally, the two sighed lightly and stopped paying attention to Lin Haoyang. Yes, they didn't even teach the senior brother, so why should I give it to you? I'm afraid to a greater extent, this method is not so easy to control. Lin Haoyang knows the minds of these people, and fortunately, his method can't be easily controlled by others. Shaking his head, he no longer thinks about this question. In the past 3 months, Lin Haoyang has lit up 10 stardust in an island. Let Lin Haoyang's Dantian and the world of knowledge strengthen a lot. Just because the benefits were obvious, Lin Haoyang became more and more eager for the blood essence in the blood pool of the gods and demons. In these 3 months, Lin Haoyang has progressed from being able to refine 2 drops of Tier 5 high-grade demonic beasts at a time to being able to refine and absorb 1 drop of Tier 6 low-grade demonic beasts' blood essence. Although Lin Haoyang can only refine the weakest Tier 6 blood essence at present, this is a huge improvement. Even the weakest 6th-order blood essence, its inherent power is equivalent to the strength of 4 drops of 5th-order blood essence. Refining the 6th-order blood essence can save Lin Haoyang a lot of time and blood essence. However, Lin Haoyang was still too slow to stir up refining. 10 stars and 1 island were less than 1,000th of the world in Lin Haoyang's body. And Lin Haoyang has been here for almost half a year. If this continues, in 5 years, Lin Haoyang can light up 1/10 of the area, which is pretty good. At this time, Lin Haoyang thought of Ouyang-ji. Ouyang-ji could go deep into the blood pool of the gods and demons with only his hands refined into the unsullied body, and his whole body was cultivated into an unsullied body. Isn't there anything he can do? Lin Haoyang didn't believe it. He walked to some blood pool, and his eyes flashed resolutely. Without hesitating too much, he stretched his hand into the blood pool of the god and demon. 89%. Chapter 536. Putting his hands into the blood pool of the gods and demon, Lin Haoyang suddenly felt a pain in his hands, which was extremely tingling. Although these blood essences have left the dead ancient demonic beasts' corpses, these blood essences all come from some powerful ancient demonic beasts. It is equivalent to a group of wild ancient demonic beasts releasing coercion on you. Even Shimu and others dare not try it easily. Ouyang-ji also dared to put his hands in them because they had turned into innocuous bodies. Otherwise, these multiple blood essences will explode at the same time, and the cultivator will not dare to try easily. In case of bad luck and a drop of the blood of demonic beasts, it will be over. In fact, it is not afraid of blood essence's backlash, but the memory fragments of the ancient demonic beasts of the blood essence Chinese Hedao realm, which is the most deadly. The memory fragments of demonic beasts, even Shimu and others dare not try easily. If one fails, they will be aware of the sea shock. On the contrary, like Ouyang-ji, he directly shattered blood essence and removed all the memory fragments of the ridiculous demonic beasts. This is a bit useful. What Lin Haoyang wants to learn is Ouyang-ji. Those memory fragments have no effect on him, and can even be said to be equivalent to poison. As long as he breaks the blood essence near his hands and only absorbs its essence, the problem is not big. Although Lin Haoyang possesses a completely innocent body, things are not that simple. The immaculate body has almost no impurities and is extremely pure. It can minimize the suppression of Lin Haoyang by blood essence. Lin Haoyang ran the immaculate body with all his strength, no longer deliberately covering it. Lin Haoyang's physical body suddenly became like a crystal, becoming crystal clear. Ouyang-ji's semi-finished non-scaling body can probably shield 30% of the pressure of blood essence. And Lin Haoyang's complete, non-scaling body, the effect is naturally better. Under full operation, Lin Haoyang can shield 70% of the pressure. 70% is unimaginable. However, even if 70% of the suppressing power of blood essence was blocked, Lin Haoyang's hands were still extremely difficult. Break! Lin Haoyang yelled. Spirit power exploded between his hands, and dozens of drops of blood essence around the curtain head exploded. Blood essence broke open, and the remaining memory fragments in blood essence were suddenly exposed. Dozens of shining fragments flew out and flew straight to Lin Haoyang's eyebrows. Lin Haoyang's face was solemn, and the most threatening to him was the memory fragments of these ridiculous demonic beasts. If these dozens of fragments of memory were poured into his mind, he would not have the slightest chance. As long as an instant, he can squeeze through his world of consciousness. After a brief inspection, he found that among the broken blood, more than 10 drops of blood essence had reached the level of the god of transformation. Since Lin Haoyang dared to take this risk, he had naturally considered it clearly. As soon as the soul-fixing technique moved, black silk threads flew out of Lin Haoyang's eyebrows, instantly smashing some weaker memory fragments. With just one blow, 1/3 of the memory fragments were shattered. Soul-fixing cultivation till now, for Sake has become extremely terrifying. Just now, Lin Haoyang drilled 7 divine sense threads at the same time between his eyebrows. The power of every rule is extremely terrifying. Dealing with nascent soul late stage is not a big problem. If there are 7 ways to go, even if Yang Lian who exists like this, you must be careful, and if one is not careful, it will sail in the gutter. No way, the divine sense attack was originally mysterious, and coupled with the fact that soul concentration was still a 6th order peak spell, its power was even more unpredictable. However, ordinary geniuses have divine sense defense magical item that defends against divine sense attacks, which is very difficult to obtain. However, the divine sense defense magical item is precious anomaly. If you have one, it will be great. Who can bring more? Divine sense defense magical item is not cheap. However, the number of times Lin Haoyang can cast soul concentration is not very limited. As Lin Haoyang's divine sense became stronger and stronger, the number of times Lin Haoyang performed soul concentration became straight ascending. If there are more visits, will divine sense defend magical item resist? Once you can't hold it, how can you fight Lin Haoyang when divine sense is damaged? It is simply a great weapon to kill the enemy. 7 divine sense threads exploded 1/3 of the memory fragments, and the rest continued to fly towards Lin Haoyang's eyebrows. At this moment, something flew out between Lin Haoyang's eyebrows and a palm-sized flying sword suddenly shot out. The speed reached the extreme, and in a short moment, more than a dozen memory fragments were crushed. This flying sword is the killing intent sword condensed by Lin Haoyang, and it is extremely powerful when used at this moment. More than a dozen memory fragments were broken in the blink of an eye. If it weren't for time, these memory fragments could be broken with a single sword. Just after the sword of killing intent broke open more than 10 memory fragments, there were more than 10 left, and went straight to Lin Haoyang's eyebrows. At this time, the faces of the surrounding people all changed, and more than a dozen memory fragments were enough to kill Lin Haoyang. The movement made by Lin Haoyang was not small, and many people paid attention to him. At the beginning, Lin Haoyang put his hand in the blood pool of the gods and demons, and they were shocked. It was okay for Wu Yangji to put his hands in the gods and demon weights, they could still understand, after all, they had cultivated into an innocuous body, they were the pinnacle of god transformation, and they also possessed a powerful physical body. Nothing they can understand naturally, but you can be like nascent soul, how can they be convinced? What made them even more unexpected, Lin Haoyang was so courageous that he even dared to directly explode blood essence. Dozens of blood essences exploded, and so many memory fragments poured in at the same time. What can Lin Haoyang do? Can't be broken through the sea of consciousness in an instant. When Wu Yangji saw Lin Haoyang learning his own, he couldn't help but his eyelids twitched. Did he play too much, his junior? Then, they were surprised by Lin Haoyang's series of methods. Even Wu Yangji didn't expect Lin Haoyang to hide so many things in his eyebrows. It's really an old yin stuff. If anyone also meets Lin Haoyang, then you have to be careful, otherwise you won't know how to die by then. Not far away, Yang Konggu's mouth twitched. Sure enough, Lin Haoyang didn't look so weak. Whoever really wants to use him as a cultivator on the 4th floor of Nascent Soul is absolutely unlucky. Seeing that the remaining dozen or so memory fragments were about to flood into Lin Haoyang's eyebrows, a tower-shaped phantom appeared on Lin Haoyang's eyebrows. The center of the eyebrows resembled the Buddha pagoda and the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. At this moment, a black light exploded. These black lights were directed at a regular fragment. Then, a shocking scene happened. These black lights instantly swallowed these memory fragments. Soon, a black thread appeared in those black lights, pulling all the rule fragments into the black tower. After a few breaths, the original arrogant fragments of memory can't be seen at this moment. A smile appeared at the corner of Lin Haoyang's mouth. Although he was impulsive, he never fought unprepared battles. Just now, an idea emerged from the Buddha pagoda, wanting to swallow these memory fragments. These memory fragments were an opportunity for Shi Mu and the others to understand the Great Way, and to Lin Haoyang and others, it was a deadly poison. But for the Buddha Profound Pagoda, these memory fragments are a great tonic, and it is very good for his powerful philosophical brand. If it wasn't for this brand to be a little weak, the tower would have waited to swallow it. 90%. Chapter 537. As the Buddha Pagoda swallowed some memory fragments of the ancient demonic beasts, his imprint in the sea of knowledge of Lin Haoyang was condensed. But it's only a trace. The power of the great avenue contained in these memory fragments, the power of these great avenues, is to strengthen the real existence of the phantom. After digesting all the memory fragments, Lin Haoyang's mind sounded from the Buddha Tower. Boy, go suck me crazy, don't worry about all the memory fragments, I have solved it for you in 8th stage. Lin Haoyang was taken aback. Although the Buddha Pagoda was in the sea of his knowledge, he rarely spoke. Only Lin Haoyang would show up when he was most dangerous. At the beginning, the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda, because of it, followed Lin Haoyang. Unexpectedly, encountering the blood pool of the gods and demons this time made this guy completely change his face. Lin Haoyang's face is not very good looking, blood essence is not so good to suck, even if there is no memory fragment, just the suppression of blood essence may be directly crushed. The dozens of drops of blood essence just broken are enough for him to absorb for a few days, and it will be a few days before thinking about the next round. No, I didn't absorb these blood essence so fast. The blood essence here is enough for me to absorb it for a few days. Lin Haoyang was helpless and could only honestly say. In the sea of consciousness, the Buddha Pagoda trembled. Yes, Lin Haoyang was too weak, and the rate of absorption was too slow, and there was not so much power for Lin Haoyang to absorb. Suddenly, a girl's face appeared on the phantom of the Buddha Tower, saying, "In this way, I will lend you some strength to allow you to absorb blood essence 3 times as fast as ascension, but you have to break as many blood essence as possible so that I can absorb those memory fragments." Lin Haoyang saw the girl's face on the Buddha Tower. He was stunned again. Is the Buddha Tower a female? Do not. I can't say that. I can only say that his spirit is a little girl, just like Feng Ling. Such a serious Buddha Tower. Qi Ling turned out to be a little girl. Really interesting. The owner of the Buddha Tower back then was also a bad taste. Because he knows that the owner of magical item can control the shape of the spirit. Otherwise, Yuk would not happen to be the twin spirits of the dragon and the phoenix. How could there be such a coincidence? However, Lin Haoyang was still tempted to hear about 3 times the absorption efficiency. In 5 years, 3 times the absorption efficiency. Isn't it equivalent to 10 years longer? 10 years, how much can he earn? Lin Haoyang is not easy to estimate, anyway, he makes a steady profit without losing. Okay, I promise you, but you must resist it for me, otherwise it will be all gone. Lin Haoyang exclaimed, this is a matter of life and death. Don't worry, there is me here, and basically everything can be suppressed, plus Xiao Ba, you can rest assured. The Buddha Tower said again. Lin Haoyang nodded. The moment divine sense exited the sea of consciousness, a ray of black energy drilled from the center of Lin Haoyang's eyebrows and turned into an ancient spiritual object, printed on Lin Haoyang's chest. Only Lin Haoyang could see this spiritual pattern. Even if Lin Haoyang knew about the ancient Taoism, after all, he had always carried the know-it-all of dragon spirit, but he had never seen this spirit run. Just taking a look, Lin Haoyang felt that his own mind would sink into it. Lin Haoyang swallowed secretly. His impression of the Buddha Pagoda was once again 3 points higher. Compared with the Buddha Pagoda, Yuk and the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda are more than one difference. They simply outline a spiritual pattern to have such power. Looking at the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, it's nothing, and on the other hand, I disabled myself. Soon, the spirit veins began to work, and Lin Haoyang only felt the speed at which he absorbed blood essence, crazy ascension. It didn't stop until ascension tripled. In Lin Haoyang's knowledge of the Sea and Dantian, the speed at which the gray area is illuminated is also tripled by ascension. In this way, Lin Haoyang saw a glimmer of hope. Otherwise, when he slowly absorbs it, when will it be ahead? Soon, it took 3 days to absorb the blood essence, which was absorbed by Lin Haoyang in 1 day. The broken blood essence was completely absorbed, and the surrounding blood essence came again, dozens of drops. The blood essence in this lake was just a trivial matter. Soon, Lin Haoyang's hands shook again, and dozens of drops of blood essence were shattered. Suddenly a large number of memory fragments flooded towards Lin Haoyang's eyebrows. This time, Lin Haoyang didn't stop him. Let these memory fragments go straight to own eyebrows. At this moment, everyone in the distance joined together and looked up at Lin Haoyang again. Why have you been doing this day by day and let people not cultivate well? Such a big movement in a day. However, when they saw that Lin Haoyang broke a large amount of blood essence again, they were a little speechless. Is this only one day? Lin Haoyang absorbed all the blood essence. Is it so fast? Are you afraid of being blown up? In the distance, Wu Yangji opened his mouth and looked at Lin Haoyang, and he was also startled. His junior brother seemed to be more enchanting than he thought. Even if it was him, it would take a long time to absorb a burst of blood essence. But what is his realm, the 9-layer god? Doesn't he want to face? But soon, the shock on his face turned into worried that Lin Haoyang would be too greedy and burst himself. If Lin Haoyang really killed himself by playing, I'm afraid he would be beaten to death by Ji Lingxi when he returned. Tell her that the younger brother was playing high, and accidentally absorbed blood essence and burst herself. Thinking of this, Wu Yangji suddenly thought of Ji Lingxi's hammer, feeling a little afraid. Should he take care of it? Really, it's so uncomfortable. Soon, the tower-shaped phantom in Lin Haoyang's eyebrows moved again, and it was even more vigorous. It was directly projected, suppressing all the memory fragments, and did not give them a chance to get close at all. After swallowing all the memory fragments, the tower-shaped phantom then retreated with satisfaction and returned to Lin Haoyang's eyebrows. At this moment, all the cultivators were shocked. Are these memory fragments so weak? Impossible. If it is really weak, Wu Yangji would have no such worries. Relying on the big suppression of blood essence, he would not be able to stop a cultivator from the peak of the gods. The tower-shaped phantom in the center of Lin Haoyang's eyebrows seems to be Lin Haoyang's greatest reliance. Compared with this, the cultivation technique that can shield lifelessness is trivial. For a while, everyone was a little excited about what kind of opportunity Lin Haoyang got that gave him such a chance. Wu Yangji narrowed his eyes and said a bad cry in his heart. Lin Haoyang had exposed too much and his wealth was moving. Who is sure that people here would not attack him? Not to mention anything else, Lin Haoyang possessed everything, even he was tempted, let alone other people. Here, with so many cultivators watching together, they may not be tempted. But after going out, who can say it again? By the way, Lin Haoyang said before that when Demon Cultivator was wiped out, someone was targeting him and even wanted to kill him. This shows that someone is already watching him. If the matter here is exposed again, then those who do it with Lin Haoyang, I am afraid they will be even more impatient. Wu Yangji was worried about Lin Haoyang and the other transfigures, and he didn't know what he was thinking. The young man turned into a god, looking at Lin Haoyang's eyes with a little excitement, flashed past, and soon hid it, as if nothing had happened. 90%. Chapter 538. Another day later, Lin Haoyang once again absorbed the broken blood essence, and the Dantian and divine sense spaces were realized again. However, it is still a drop in the bucket, and the resources Lin Haoyang needs are simply too huge. Seeing Lin Haoyang completely absorbed all blood essence again, everyone was shocked. What kind of cultivation technique is Lin Haoyang's cultivation? It needs such a huge amount of energy. Just as the physical strength of nascent soul cultivator has a limit, there is also a limit to the power that can be absorbed by different cultivation techniques. If it was just a general fifth-order cultivation technique, the power that Lin Haoyang absorbed in 2 days would have reached the limit of its absorption. In 2 days, Lin Haoyang absorbed nearly 100 drops of all the power of the ancient demonic beast's blood essence, of which 30 drops reached tier 6. Such a huge force, a nascent soul, does not mean that it can be absorbed by absorption. Ordinary cultivator has already reached its limit. Jian Shu and the others didn't dare to absorb too much at once. Every time they went back and forth, they carried about 10 drops, which was the limit. This time, it takes about 3 days, that is to say, in 3 days, Jian Shu and others can absorb about 10 drops of blood essence. Compared with Lin Haoyang's speed, the difference was too far too far to be comparable. Otherwise, Yang Konggu would not be so excited. He went directly to Lin Haoyang in exchange for a method of shielding death. It was the speed at which Lin Haoyang absorbed blood essence, which made people's eyes were red. Even a genius like Jian Shu is a disciple of a sword holder. Cultivation technique is definitely not weak, but if they want to absorb blood essence at Lin Haoyang's speed, they definitely can't hold it. Hundreds of drops of blood essence were absorbed in 2 days, and they had long since been bombed and killed by blood essence. Soon, Wu Yangji also felt something was wrong. Lin Haoyang exposed too much, and if this continued, he was afraid that Shi Mu and others could not help but act against Lin Haoyang. Therefore, just when Lin Haoyang was about to break blood essence again, Wu Yangji's voice rang in his mind. Junior brother, it's a bit too late. It's not necessarily a good thing to absorb it too fast. Lin Haoyang was taken aback. Brother gave him a voice transmission. Is it a good thing to absorb too fast? Brother worried that he will make it. He knows the sea and Dantian is still waiting to be fed. He doesn't think the absorption is too slow, that's it. Suddenly, Lin Haoyang felt cold behind his back. He suddenly discovered that all the 5 gods in the room were staring at him. That kind of expression, as if looking at some prey. Only Wu Yangji, with a deep expression on his face, even pulled his hands out of the blood pool of the gods and devil, with a look on his guard. Even if Lin Haoyang is stupid, he should understand what is going on at this moment. As the so-called wealth is not exposed, some of his previous actions have already exposed him, with great opportunities. They are not like Ji Lingxi, who can see through the opportunities in his body, but he went to the fairy tomb and went to the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. If Lin Haoyang didn't get it at all, do they believe it? Not to mention, Lin Haoyang didn't believe it himself. Finding that Lin Haoyang was looking at them, he didn't even hide his extremely transforming spirit, so he nodded to Lin Haoyang, took blood essence again, and began to feel the way. Several gangs are deeper into the blood pool of the gods and demons, where the blood essence level is higher, and the basic valleys are all tier 6. There are even a lot of 7th order blood essence mixed in. Lin Haoyang's expression suddenly became extremely solemn. What should be done? Wu Yangji reminded him, if he absorbs blood essence so unscrupulously, I am afraid these incarnation cultivators will not be able to bear it. Boy, why don't you continue? Don't worry, I will suck as much as you come. An anxious voice came from the pagoda. She had just received some benefits. If Lin Haoyang stopped smoking, he would not be at a loss. In the knowledge of the sea, Lin Haoyang Divine Sense Phantom opened his eyes and said, the outside world is a little troublesome. I have absorbed blood essence too fast and too much, and it has aroused their curiosity. If I continue like this, I am afraid they will not help but shoot you. The pagoda was taken aback for a moment, and the girl's face reappeared. She had never thought of such a thing. Didn't Lin Haoyang say, what kind of selection is here? Killing is strictly prohibited. Those who have the courage to change the gods, dare to start here. The Buddha Tower just wanted to absorb more memory fragments, but unexpectedly, it caused Lin Haoyang to get into trouble. A group of transforming gods, if this were placed in the past, he would be able to shake a large number of existences with a slight coercion, but now they are threatening the people she likes. It is true that the tiger fell to Pingyang and was deceived by the dog, and the fluffy phoenix is not as good as the chicken. Then what to do? The power of my projection is not very strong, and the biggest one is around nascent soul. It's not enough to deal with a group of gods. After all, the gazes of the Buddha Pagoda and Lin Haoyang looked at the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda at the same time. Although her power is limited, isn't it still a fairy tool of the 6th order peak? In fact, Lin Haoyang also meant this. If the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda could help him suppress these gods, then he would have no worries. If you dare to come, I will kill you, and kill a genius in the outside world. I am afraid that even the most spiritual person will not be able to keep him. But here, what are you afraid of? People are coming to kill me, and I am not allowed to fight back. That makes no sense. The 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda was uncomfortable when this person saw the tower one by one, and said, no, these are transforming gods, their strength is not weak, and they all have the strength of half-step transforming gods. According to Lin Haoyang, the status of these transforming gods in the human race is not low, so it is very possible for them. All have a 7th order magical item. Even if the general 7th order magical item is not my opponent, 4 people together, plus a steady stream of spirit power provided by the cultivator, I am not an opponent either. Unless my current strength is restored to the level of tier 7, dealing with them will not be a big problem. Quote. Lin Haoyang's divine sense phantom was silent, that is to say, even if the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda makes a move, it is not safe. From this point of view, if the great transformation god really wanted to do something to him, he would have little chance, even if Wu Yangji was on his side. Moreover, it is very likely that Wu Yangji, the 4 major gods will join forces, which is not handled by Wu Yangji. If this were the case, Lin Haoyang would be a little unwilling. I can't absorb these blood essences, it's really more uncomfortable than death. Lin Haoyang retreated from the sea of consciousness. This time, it was really difficult to do. He is not reconciled. The opportunity is right in front of us, that can give up like this. This time, Lin Haoyang did not rush to break the blood essence, but looked tired and began to rest in the lotus position. Actually, you can completely enter the blood pool of the gods and devil to absorb blood essence. This blood pool of the gods and devil is not for people to absorb blood essence. Suddenly, Long Ling's voice rang in Lin Haoyang's mind. Lin Haoyang was taken aback. Yeah, why did he forget Long Ling? To say that these spirits in his body are definitely the most knowledgeable dragon spirits, even the Buddha's pagoda can't match them. Xiaojin, the blood pool of the gods and devil, didn't absorb blood essence, what's that for? Lin Haoyang questioned. Naturally, I can train the gods and demons. Xiaojin arrived. Lin Haoyang was taken aback. God and devil body. He has never heard this statement before. What is this god and demon body? The blood pool of gods and demons, in the immortal world, is the secret treasure of body cultivator immortal ascension. The body of gods and demons is stronger than your unsullied body. But if you have cultivated an innocent body, you can go deep into the blood pool of the gods and demons, even if you don't cultivate the gods and demons, with a few transforming gods, why can't you do it? Quote. Hearing this, Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up, and as expected, Xiaojin was reliable. However, going deep into the mysterious blood pool is not a bit risky. Inside the blood pool of the gods and demons, there is likely to be a large number of blood essence of the seventh order wild ancient demonic beasts. 90%. Chapter 539. Seeing Lin Haoyang's worry, Xiao Jinlong said again. The blood pool of the gods and demons is indeed more dangerous for low-level cultivators. The suppression of blood essence alone makes it difficult for people to survive in it. However, the blood pool of the gods and demons has a characteristic. There is a small area at the bottom of the blood pool, and the suppressive power of the blood essence in it will be greatly weakened. Moreover, wherever some treasures might be born, where is the core area of the entire blood pool of the gods and demons? Quote. Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up when he heard it, but he didn't expect that there was such a treasure in it. Sure enough, the most reliable one is Little Golden Dragon. If you encounter problems in the future, you should look for Little Golden Dragon. This god and demon blood pool is very dangerous, I am afraid I can't go down. Lin Haoyang said bluntly, the repulsive force in the depth of the god and demon blood pool is definitely not something he can resist. Stupid you can't hold it, naturally someone can hold it, and the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda can escort you in. Xiao Jin hated iron not being steel. Recently, why does he always think Lin Haoyang is a little stupid? Lin Haoyang patted his head. Yes, why did he forget the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda again? The 8th stage profound crystal pagoda is also an artifact, even if it has fallen to the 6th stage now, it is also an artifact, suppressed by the little blood essence, shouldn't be a problem. Lin Haoyang was a little uneasy, so he sank into the sea of knowledge and asked about it. Soon, the 8th stage Xuanjing pagoda gave an affirmative answer. If it did its best, he could still resist the suppression of the blood essence of the god and devil's blood pool. With the guarantee of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, Lin Haoyang was finally relieved. Hey, don't you just want my cultivation technique? Go down and get it if you have the ability. However, before going down, I still have to tell Ouyangji, otherwise, if he rashly this afternoon, I am afraid that Ouyangji will die in a hurry. Soon, Lin Haoyang found Ouyangji and said, Brother, I will go to the blood pool of the gods and demons later, please don't worry, brother. I have my own means of protecting my life. Ouyangji, who was about to refining blood essence again, was taken aback. What do you mean? How to get down to the blood pool of the gods and demons? Also let him not worry. He soon knew what it meant, don't worry him. Just after Lin Haoyang finished transmitting to Ouyangji, he saw Lin Haoyang stand up. Then he made a leap and rushed into the blood pool of the gods and demons. In an instant, Lin Haoyang sank into the blood pool of the gods and demons and disappeared. This time, everyone in the room fry the pot, is Lin Haoyang looking for death? How dangerous the blood pool of the gods and demons was, even if Ouyangji didn't dare to go deep directly, he only dared to deepen the part that was refined into an innocuous body. How dare Lin Haoyang? The 5 great transformation gods shot through the hole in an instant, which was really shocking. At this moment, Ouyangji was completely stunned. Just now Lin Haoyang gave him a voice transmission, so that he should not worry. Can you worry about it? Looking for death, this is, how does this make him explain to Ji Lingxi? The other 4 transformation gods looked at Uyangji together, saying, "What kind of moth your family is doing?" Uyangji cursed in his heart, but his face showed an anxious look. He even used his magical powers to bombard the blood pool of the gods and demons, hoping to find Lin Haoyang. The other fellows looked at him like this, so they couldn't say more, although they thought Uyangji must know something. As a result, the 5 Hidao began to fish for Lin Haoyang in the blood pool of the gods and demons. On the side, Jianshu and the others came to the blood pool of the gods and demons again just now, and then saw Lin Haoyang jump down and jump into the blood pool of the gods and demons, a scene where several great transformation gods fished for Lin Haoyang. What happened? They don't know at all. However, in this scene, it seems that a few collaborators have forced Lin Haoyang to death. Had it not been for Uyangji hadn't fought a war with a few great transformation gods, he would definitely believe it. In any case, it is better not to join in the fun at this time. There is also Zhou Rong who has the same idea as Jian Shu. No matter what happens at this moment, there are 5 great transformation gods, and they will not take care of them. In case it is bad, they may also be dangerous. In the distance, an old man appeared and said, "In this era, does anyone know the real purpose of the blood pool of the gods and demons? However, nascent soul is weak. This cultivation base goes down. I'm afraid I'm going to die before getting the chance." The 5 cultivators fetched for a while and broke a lot of blood essence, with more and more memory fragments. When these memory fragments reached a certain level, they also had to stop. The 5 gods retreat, and there are too many memory fragments gathered here. If they don't, they will end up with chi deviation. Uyangji was really anxious this time. He was not sure whether Lin Haoyang was really alive, and if he jumped in so directly, it would be difficult for him to survive. After waiting for a while, still nothing happened, Uyangji took out a token from his storage bag. A divine sense fell into it, and then the entire token burned, then turned into a flame and disappeared in place. The great transformation gods don't need to look at them to know that Uyangji told Ji Lingxi what happened here, and asked Ji Lingxi to pay attention. Shi Mu and the others were helpless. If Ji Lingxi came, no matter how many thoughts they had, they could only hide in their hearts. "Everyone, it's better not to have any other thoughts," Uyangji said. After all, his arms lit up, and the 2 arms were like crystals, without impurities. Shi Mu and the others' complexions condensed. Uyangji trained both arms into an innocent body. In this way, I am afraid that its strength will once again have a lot of ascension. Swords were drawn outside the blood pool of the gods and demons, but Lin Haoyang leisurely went to the center of the blood pool of the gods and demons. Above Lin Haoyang, there was a 4-story small tower. The small tower propped up a shield to protect Lin Haoyang from the surrounding blood essence. The 8th stage profound crystal pagoda does not lose the magical item of immortal Dao in time. Even if it is disabled and falls down, the strength is still here. Soon, under the guard of the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower, Lin Haoyang came to the point of the blood pool of the gods and demons. The blood pool of the gods and demon is not deep, only about 100 meters, but when Lin Haoyang arrived in the capital, he spent almost a stick of incense, which is enough to see that the blood pool of the gods and demon is not simple. Inside the blood pool of the gods and demons, a blood red color is really beautiful. Lin Haoyang didn't dare to relax at all. Although it looked good here, he knew how miserable he would die without the protection of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. In the end, Lin Haoyang may only be left in blood essence and blend into it. Not far away, Lin Haoyang saw some purple-red blood essences, which were huge, and there was no other blood essence close to them within 1 meter of space. Don't look at it. This blood essence must be the blood essence of the 7th order wild ancient demonic beasts, and it's not the kind of early stage. Seeing these blood essences, Lin Haoyang had a longing in his body. Dantian and Zihai wanted to swallow this thing. Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched. Stop joking, if he really swallows this thing, he will definitely die. Soon, Lin Haoyang bypassed these terrifying 7th order blood essences and moved on. After half an hour, a whirlpool appeared in front of him. The vortex was not large, and the stirring blood essence power only penetrated half of the blood pool of the gods and demons. Needless to say about Xiao Jinlong, Lin Haoyang also knew that this place must be the treasure that Xiao Jinlong said, blood qi is too rich, even surpassing the 7th order blood essence. 90%. Chapter 540. Looking at the most central area of this god and devil blood pool, Lin Haoyang couldn't help but smile. If he were to cultivate here, he would definitely get twice the result with half the effort. Moreover, the blood qi in the central area was just pure blood qi, with no memory fragments in it, and for Lin Haoyang, it was a lot less troublesome. Soon, under the escort of the 8th stage profound crystal tower, I came to the whirlpool, but there was a serious problem. With this vortex, the 8th stage profound armor pagoda could not take people through. If it were only the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, it would not be a big problem to travel through the past, but it would be much more difficult to bring Lin Haoyang with him. Now here, the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda cannot put Lin Haoyang into his own storage bag. Open the passage here. The blood essence here is likely to flood into it and burst him. Just as if it was on the seafloor that day, a large amount of seawater poured into it. Even if it was the magical item of Sendo, it was crushed by the huge seawater pressure and collapsed 4 floors. Here, I'm afraid it's only a little bit worse than the 10,000 meters of seawater, and the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda now has only 4 floors left, and its strength is greatly reduced. Lin Haoyang frowned. FK me. It's all here, tell me you can't get in. Really no way. Do you want to burst another layer? Lin Haoyang barked his teeth, a little crazy. The 8th stage profound crystal pagoda trembled. Lin Haoyang was so cruel that he actually wanted him to explode a layer. I'm afraid he won't even be able to keep nascent soul at that time. No, absolutely not. I felt a nascent soul. Even if you become the immortal in the future, there is very little hope of recovery. 8th stage Xuanjing pagoda was anxious, and the boy got out of the tower and refused. In that way, it seemed that Lin Haoyang had to say one more thing, and he was afraid that he would leave Lin Haoyang here. Lin Haoyang frowned. It seemed that the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda didn't expect to come. He rolled his eyes and touched the center of his brows. Don't just eat or work, can you do it? Lin Haoyang said. The Buddha tower at the center of the eyebrows has been pretending to be dead, because he is afraid that Lin Haoyang will think of him, otherwise he would have been flying happily in this place. I didn't see that outside the vortex, the countless memory fragments whirling, those should be the blood essence shattered by the vortex, flowing out. That amount, like a starry sky, can't be counted. If all these memory fragments can be swallowed, the Buddha pagoda feels that her mark can probably be restored to the level of transforming gods. And then swallow some memory fragments of the 7th order blood essence in the outside world, at least it can be restored to the peak level of the gods. Wait until I swallow all those memory fragments, it's okay, now. Not yet. Said the Buddha tower. Lin Haoyang's mouth twitched. Good fellow, at the critical moment, just drop me the chain. He shook his head, no longer expecting the Buddha tower. It seems that he can only look at himself. With a touch of his hand on the storage bag, more than a dozen nascent soul magical items appeared in his hand, as well as more than a dozen tier 5 magical charms. Part of these are his previous gains, and part of them were gifted by Ouyang Ji, Jilingxi and others. Although most of the demons were destroyed in the original battle, he still found a lot of relics and became a writer. These things, he didn't choose to stay in Xuanjun sect, and now he finally used them. Seeing Lin Haoyang at the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda took out these 5th order magical items and charms, he disdainfully said. Don't think about it, even if the number is doubled, it won't be able to break this vortex, and, can you control so many magical item charms at the same time? Lin Haoyang showed a weird smile on his face and said. Who said I would control them? You said I exploded them all. Can you open a hole? Or a boy with a face of disdain, suddenly taken aback. They all blow up, are they so crazy? Although these are some tier 5 magical items and charms, they are all going to explode. This is also millions of spirit stones, Lin Haoyang is willing. If all of them explode, they can open a hole in a short time, which can last for about a breath, and after a breath, the vortex will return to normal. However, with this breath of time, I will take you in. 8th stage Xuanjing Tower said. There was a hint of joy on Lin Haoyang's face. It would be good to be able to pass. This was his last resort. If this didn't work, then he would have nothing to do. However, with so many resources, Lin Haoyang was still a little bit reluctant. This exploded. From now on, he will be completely clean. A poor ghost, millions of spirit stones, that's it. However, compared with the harvest, Lin Haoyang's millions of spirit stones are a bit insignificant. The blood essence that Lin Haoyang has absorbed these days is probably worth more than millions of spirit stones. Lin Haoyang gritted his teeth and left a divine sense power on all the magical items and charms. Only when all of them are transformed into their own strength is true strength. Get ready. Lin Haoyang gave a low cry, pushed with both hands, and sent the more than 20 magical items and charms to the whirlpool. Burst. Suddenly, a huge fire light suddenly exploded. The power of horror dispersed. All blood essence within 100 meters around, all exploded, countless memory fragments rushed towards Lin Haoyang. But immediately, the memory fragments were sucked away by the vortex and began to revolve around the vortex. Lin Haoyang's eyes widened fiercely. Too much, so many magical items and talismans exploded, and the power range only spread about 100 meters. However, Lin Haoyang didn't have time to think about this, and the power of the explosion hadn't completely dissipated, and the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda had already rushed over with him. Their time is limited. They have to rush through before the passage is closed again. If they can't rush through, Lin Haoyang's resources will be in vain. In an instant, the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda took Lin Haoyang through a piece of magical item fragments to the entrance of the passage. Lin Haoyang's heart suddenly burst. With so many magical item charms, only a passage about half a meter in size was blown up. Moreover, in just a moment, this channel has already begun to recover. Lin Haoyang could only curse a pervert in his heart. As for how to get out after going in, Lin Haoyang couldn't control that much. Big deal, let 8th stage Xuanjing Tower bring Yang Ji to rescue him. Under the envelope of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, Lin Haoyang turned into a light and rushed into the whirlpool. Outside, the blood pool of the gods and demons violently oscillated, and thousands of blood essences suddenly burst into pieces, apparently affected by the explosion. Thousands of memory fragments turned into a light pattern, rushing to Yang Ji and the others violently, and the frightened everyone backed madly, not daring to stay in the upper hole of the blood pool of the gods and demons. Looking at the memory fragments that suddenly appeared, Yang Ji couldn't help but trembled, wondering what Lin Haoyang was making in it. No matter how fast the memory fragments are, the cultivator still has the same speed, and then it can only return without success, hovering in the upper hole of the blood pool of the gods and demons. Jian Shu and the others looked at the huge light ball, and the corners of their mouths twitched. Is this Lin Haoyang too much to cause trouble? In the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, Lin Haoyang directly lifted the stage, and when he got here, the danger of the blood pool of the gods and demons was ascending in a straight line. Alas, if one is not done well, he may be killed by those memory fragments. When the outside world fries the pot again, Lin Haoyang is extremely excited. The inside of the whirlpool is full of pure blood qi. Without the interference of memory fragments, it is simply a paradise for her cultivation. Without further ado, Lin Haoyang directly lotus positioned on the ground, running the Buddha profound art with all his strength to absorb these blood essences. Here, Lin Haoyang began to fully ascension. Here, it is like a natural treasure for him. A month later, the incarnation of Ji Lingxi rushed over, without saying much, directly rushing into the blood pool of the gods and demons. Seeing Lin Haoyang in the vortex of lotus position, she suddenly smiled. What danger is there in Lin Haoyang? This is a great opportunity. Even she didn't know that there was such a treasure under the blood pool of the gods and demons. Treasure under the blood pool of the gods and demons. Treasure under the blood pool